my goodness, guys!
These are some of the funniest fake Minecraft speedruns of the year. Like, comment, and subscribe.
In this first speedrun, the players aim towards the ground so we know it's fake. Then he turns around and there's a full village behind him, with not 1, but 2, 3, 4, and 5 iron golems. Yeah, that's totally legit. Then he walks to a very specific block and proceeds to dig straight down, which is widely known as a bad idea in Minecraft. To our surprise, the speedrunner miraculously finds a 10 vein of diamonds, which has a 0.5% chance of happening. Yeah, right. At this point, the speedrunner just stops trying to hide the fact that he's cheating because he digs through the wall to conveniently find a pool of lava. But wait a second, where did he get that water bucket? He clearly spawned that into his inventory and cut it out. You're probably wondering, how is he mining this obsidian so quickly? Take a look at his pickaxe that he just crafted. Somehow it got an efficiency enchantment on it. What is this guy gonna pull next? He then builds back up to the village, but he's in a completely different village. And now there's a ruined nether portal that's already lit right next to him. The chances of this happening are impossible. So this speedrunner goes into the nether, and at this point, the speedrun moderators probably think he's psychic, because he once again digs straight down and falls right into a blaze spawner. This guy is really lucky. You may have noticed he only got 1 blaze rod, but this speedrunner doesn't need any more. He goes back to the overworld to miraculously find 1 enderman right outside of his portal. He kills the enderman, creates 1 eye of ender, and throws it to determine where the stronghold is. Now, this part is just laughable. He goes up to the house and types in chat that he has to think about where the stronghold is. And then there's a blatantly obvious cut where he recreated the house he was next to, and suddenly he's directly above the stronghold. And if that's not bad enough, when he gets to the portal room, he only needs 1 eye of ender. So clearly this speedrun is fake. At this point, the speedrun moderators probably got popcorn and a soda, because this guy spawns into the end and every single beacon is already destroyed. If you ever need someone to lie for you, don't pick this guy because he's just terrible at it. This next speedrun is actually pretty normal compared to all of the other ones. The speedrunner gets wood, crafts some tools, and then loots a village. But this next series of events is so confusing, I don't even know how to process it. The speedrunner waits until it's nighttime, which defeats the purpose of a speedrun, and then he goes to sleep. He cuts the video to waking up in the stronghold. Before the speedrunner goes into the end, he loots a chest and finds a nuke? This one was definitely legit. In this next speedrun, the speedrunner conveniently spawns right next to a village. He gets some wood, crafts some tools, and so far everything seems legit. It's only until he digs down that we discover that he spawned directly above a stronghold. Now, maybe this speedrunner could have gotten away with this, but then he loots a chest that conveniently has full enchanted diamond armor, weapons, and 64 enchanted golden apples. Now, maybe he could have gotten away with this, but if you look at the armor he equips, the enchantment level is 100 million. Yeah, that's legit. The speedrunner then travels in complete darkness directly to the end portal room, where the portal is complete. He puts text on the screen saying that his camera went out for a second or two, but he went to the nether and got eyes. Okay. He then one-shots the dragon with his enchanted bow, and despite the run being more than 5 minutes, he says it was a little longer than 6 seconds. At least try to make it seem legit, dude. In this next speedrun, everything seems normal. But wait a second, did you see that? I'll play the clip again. This speedrunner was probably fooling around in creative and forgot to get rid of the random stuff he spawned in. He then finds a village and finds some pretty normal looking loot in a chest and immediately goes to a villager to trade. But this villager is 100% leveled up, so he clearly went into creative mode and spawned this in. After getting some extremely OP trades that I'm not even sure are possible in vanilla Minecraft, our speedrunner digs down to find diamonds. He finds a hollowed out area full of water that suspiciously resembles the shape of a nether portal, and right next to it is a pool of lava. So he makes the nether portal, but he doesn't have any flint to light it. Right around the corner, our speedrunner finds a dungeon without the spawner, and inside of the chest is just 1 flint. Yeah, totally legit. So he goes into the nether and walks in a very specific path that leads directly to a bastion, which leads us to believe that he already knew where it was in the first place. When trading, everything seems normal until he starts getting a crazy amount of blaze rods and ender pearls. He goes back to the overworld and ends up not using any of his eyes of ender, and here's why. This speedrunner gets onto a minecart which leads directly to the stronghold. Yeah, the speedrun mods won't be suspicious at all. Before he enters the end portal, he loots a couple chests with some extremely OP items, but he only takes this stick, and wait until you see what he does with it. When he's in the end, he doesn't even bother breaking the end crystals, he just sits there and waits for the dragon to come down. Now watch this. He just one-hit KO'd the dragon. This guy seriously thinks he's the One Punch Man. This next speedrunner shows off his clutch skills by jumping into a ditch where there's conveniently a tree, iron ore, and diamond ore. Now, this may seem normal at first glance, but if we look at the footage, we can tell this ravine isn't too deep, which means it would be impossible for diamond ore to spawn here. So he definitely spawned it in creative. The next thing you'd expect in the speedrun is for him to find obsidian and mine it, but how he gets obsidian is not how you'd expect. The speedrunner just sits there for a while, and all of a sudden, water starts flowing from above and falls conveniently into the pool of lava, making obsidian for him to mine. Either this guy is extremely lucky or this seed is haunted by a ghost, because the chances of that happening are impossible. Our speedrunner then goes to the nether, and things are pretty normal until he reaches the nether fortress. He's clearly struggling to find a blaze spawner, and all of a sudden, a blaze spawner appears out of thin air. This seed is definitely haunted. The speedrunner gets his blaze rods, trades with piglins, and returns to the overworld. He finds the stronghold, fills the portal, and is ready to fight the ender dragon. But once again, something was a little off about his ender dragon fight. The speedrunner stands still as every end crystal is destroyed without him moving a muscle. Then, when the dragon comes down, it gets killed instantly without the speedrunner even touching it. There's no doubt this speedrun is fake, but whether or not Herobrine lives on this guy's computer is up for debate. This next run has the strangest methods I have ever seen. It starts off very normal with the speedrunner spawning in a village, and he goes right for the chest. But the weapons in the chest have been used, which means he definitely spawned in this chest and all of the items. He then uses the redstone to craft a redstone block, and here's where I really get interested. The speedrunner builds this strange contraption, and he launches himself in a boat with TNT across the map, conveniently right next to a ruined nether portal. He finds obsidian in the chest, completes the portal, lights it, and goes into the nether. The speedrunner throws 4 gold ingots at the piglin, but he gets back 64 eyes of ender, which isn't even a possible trade. The speedrunner then goes back to the overworld, and he digs out a part of the wall, places rails, and then he gets in the minecart. But when he gets jammed in the block, his character gets forced underground. I genuinely have no idea what's going on here, so if you think you know, comment it. He conveniently gets glitched right in the end portal room with half a heart to spare. The speedrunner goes into the room behind him and breaks a very specific block above him to find a few items. But what's important here is the boat and the lever. Wait till you see what he does next. He once again makes this strange TNT boat launching contraption and conveniently launches himself onto the nearest pillar. After he destroys all the end crystals, he once again launches himself at the ender dragon, but the way he defeats the dragon is not how you'd expect. He starts typing in chat telling the dragon to kill himself. The dragon says okay, and then it dies. In this first speedrun, the player gets some wood, crafts some tools, and then he's ready to find diamonds. He goes into a cave and, well, all of a sudden he can walk through walls. I'm not sure how he's doing this because it still shows that he's in survival mode. Needless to say, he finds diamonds very quickly. He crafts diamond tools and armor, and thank God because his skin is a little weird. After that, he needs obsidian to go to the nether, but wait, no, why is he walking away from it? This speedrunner builds back up and starts walking backwards. And out of nowhere, he starts getting the nether portal animation, but there's not a portal anywhere near him. Okay. This speedrunner explores the nether for a bit, but surprise, surprise, he suddenly has wall hacks again. And he finds a nether fortress very quickly. He gets blaze rods, and at this point in a speedrun, you would want to get ender pearls. So he finds a bastion, and wait, no, why is he walking away from it? The speedrunner goes back to the overworld, and he returns in a completely different area than before. And there's conveniently a chest at the portal that has ender pearls in it. But the portal he comes back in isn't even lit. What? So he crafts his eyes of ender and throws it in the air to determine where the stronghold is. He travels in that direction, but he's suddenly traveling at the speed of light. How is this even possible? He must have given himself the effect and then cut it out of the run. When he's done being a speedster, he finds the stronghold, but he's having a tough time actually finding the portal. It's no surprise that he magically gets wall hacks again. He finds the portal, fills it, and enters the end. For the grand finale, this speedrunner proves his clutch skills by climbing a pillar and doing a 360 bow and arrow on the ender dragon, but how did it just die in one hit? If we rewind this clip, we can see he gave himself strength and feather falling and cut it out of the run. This speedrunner has no shame. We can tell this next speedrun is official because there's a Wondershare Filmora video editor watermark on it. This guy didn't even take the time to get the legit version. His world generation loading screen looks legit, but when he spawns, he's aimed slightly downwards and he's in a village, so he probably spawned himself there. He loots a chest in the village and finds a crap ton of obsidian. With this suspicious amount of obsidian, he makes a nether portal, but I think the speedrunner got confused because he started making it horizontally, but he has some blocks to spare, so it's okay. So his second portal attempt, and he made a square. I can't watch this anymore. He makes his third portal correct correctly this time and goes to the nether. So he's in the nether, but he has no tools, armor, or weapons, which is a huge problem. And there's a cut to the speedrun where his entire inventory changes. That's right, he instantaneously has netherite armor, tools, and weapons. This must be a new 1.17 feature. So the next step in a speedrun is to find either a bastion or a nether fortress. Wait, no, why is he mining this glowstone? He uses the glowstone and crying obsidian to make a respawn anchor, so I'm beginning to think he doesn't understand how speedruns work. But he clicks on the respawn anchor and somehow gets teleported to the end. But wait, it gets even weirder. He jumps into the void and then somehow he makes it onto the island. But he forgets to cut out the chat saying set own game mode to survival mode. Well, he made it all this way, so the Ender Dragon fight is gonna be epic, right? Wrong. He cuts again and the dragon is just gone and the portal is spawned. And when he jumps into it, there should be credits, but instead he just automatically spawns back into the overworld. This was painful to watch. This next speedrun has a suspiciously normal start. The speedrunner gets wood, crafts tools, and as soon as he hovers over his tools, they become enchanted. Dude, what? He then digs down to get cobblestone, and when he starts mining the stone, well, you can just watch what happens. After getting diamonds via legitimate methods, the next thing you'd expect for him is to dig further down to make a nether portal. Instead, he walks around for a little and by accident drops his diamond. But when he turns around, a lit ruined nether portal just appears. Casual. To make it worse, when he walks near lava, it automatically becomes obsidian. Now I'm just confused as to how any of this is happening. He loots a chest that conveniently has full enchanted golden armor with protection, unbreaking, and mending. When he gets into the nether, there's no need for the speedrunner to find a bastion or a fortress, because as soon as he spawns in, his inventory gets filled with blaze rods, ender pearls, and eyes of ender. He's making significant progress at only 2 minutes into this run. So the speedrunner returns to the overworld and throws the eye of ender to determine where the stronghold is. Wait, no, why is he turning around? What does he do? This is fine. Everything's fine. Well, he fills this fake ender portal with eyes, and as soon as he enters the stronghold, he already has the advancement for defeating the dragon, and there's a chat conversation between him and the dragon, and he does this all in world record time. 2 minutes and 43 seconds. This next speedrun, the speedrunner spawns in a village, but there's experience points on the ground, so he must have died before in this world. He goes inside one of the houses, loots a chest, and gets some pretty legitimate looking items. Thank God he got that armor because his Minecraft skin is Shrek. Right around the corner is the most suspicious looking dungeon I've ever seen in a speedrun. Not only is it above ground and it's spawning endermen, which isn't possible, but the endermen are all facing the same direction and not moving or fighting back at all. Okay, well that was clearly fake, but this speedrunner still has time to redeem himself. He explores more of the village, but once again, right around the corner is a dungeon, spawned above ground, and it's spawning blaze. I guess the spawner wasn't working, so he goes to the nearby farm, and then there's a very obvious cut in the run. Then he tries to cover it up by looting the farm, but when he's done looting and he turns around, there's like 40 more blaze that just magically appeared behind him, and he obliterates them. Right in front of him is a lit ruined nether portal, which is impossible. I don't even know why he bothered making that because he doesn't even need it. He has 11 eyes of ender for the— wait a second. Just a minute ago, he got 9 ender pearls, but now he has 11 eyes of ender. When did that happen? This can only get worse. He looks down at the grass for a moment and types in chat, BRB, I have to go eat dinner. Within a split second, there's a cut and he's suddenly in the stronghold. He finds the portal, fills it, and enters the end. With no reputation left to lose, the speedrunner just starts typing a /kill command to beat the game. Yeah, that'll go right over the moderators' heads. This next speedrunner spawns right in the middle of the ocean, which isn't possible. He dives down and finds an underwater ruin and takes some legitimate looking loot from the chest. He makes his way to land and starts mining. But wait a second, where did he get that iron pickaxe? If we rewind the footage, he just looted wooden tools, so he must have given himself a free upgrade. He continues mining in a cave system, stops for a moment, then starts typing in chat that he has gut instinct on where Purtle is. Okay. Then he walks further down the cave and finds a ruined nether portal. Dude, come on. He just needs one more obsidian block and then he can light the portal and go to the nether. And here we go again. He has many a feeling of lava after he says that he breaks a very specific block on the wall and reveals a huge pit of lava and water. He completes the nether portal and then goes to the nether, but he struggles to find a fortress and he's wasting precious time. It's common practice for professional speedrunners to change their render distance to find structures more easily, but this speedrunner changes his render distance to the lowest option, looks down at the ground and makes a shamelessly obvious cut in his run. He changes his settings back, and the way he justifies what happened is that his computer card hot lagged. Dude, I build computers all the time and I don't even know what that means. The speedrunner approaches the blazes, but quickly realizes he could die from the flames. And all of a sudden he has a shield in his left hand, but I'm confused as to why he cheated because he had the materials to just make it legit anyways. He gets his blaze rods and goes back to the overworld, but he still doesn't have any ender pearls. Then he starts typing in chat again saying that he has gut instinct on Slendermen. He walks around the corner and what do you know, there's a dungeon with an enderman spawner in it, which isn't even a legitimate feature of Minecraft. The speedrunner farms his endless supply of Slendermen, then he crafts his Eyes of Ender, locates the stronghold, and makes his way to the end portal. This totally professional and legitimate speedrunner ends his speedrun in the best way possible. While fighting the Ender Dragon, he dies by accident, and with no shame whatsoever, he teleports himself back to the stronghold and then just uses a kill command. I have no words. This speedrunner starts off spawning in a village. They immediately dig into this specific block and there's a chest under it, but it's empty. So they must have forgotten to fill it before they started the speedrun. Also, the villagers aren't moving and they're floating in the air, so the speedrunner definitely spawned them in prior to the run with command blocks. And they can't even trade with them because they forgot to fill their secret chest from earlier. They resort to plan B and get some wood and make some tools, then they start digging straight into a wall that suspiciously had a bunch of flowers near it, and there's a ruined nether portal that needs one more block of obsidian. But it looks like they forgot to fill all the chests they spawned in creative because this one is completely empty. With no shame whatsoever, there's a hilariously obvious cut in the footage, and the portal suddenly is complete, but they don't have flint and steel to light it. Well, they must be really lucky because they break the chest and dig beneath it, and there's another chest. This must be a new feature. Luckily, there's flint and steel in the chest, and that's it. Not suspicious at all. They go to the nether, but waste a lot of time trying to find a nether fortress. All of a sudden, there's a cut to the run, but it seems like nothing is different. They're still wasting a lot of time. Wait, what? They just killed a piglin, and it dropped 24 blaze rods. How is that even possible? Well, I guess they don't need a nether fortress anymore, so they go back to the portal. But it's not lit anymore, which is really unlucky and impossible. But I think they did this for a reason. They explore a little more and find a different portal that's already lit, but it brings them to what seems like the middle of nowhere. They go down this seemingly normal waterfall, and it leads them directly to the stronghold. Still though, they haven't found any endermen, so it's going to be impossible for them to fill the end portal. Well, they go to a very specific room, and inside is an enderman farm. They're literally falling from the sky, and this guy doesn't have to move a muscle. On top of that, each enderman is dropping 5 pearls every time. With this luck, this guy should play the lottery. They craft Eyes of Ender, fill the portal, and enter the end. And out of nowhere, they start flying, as if they have fireworks and elytra, but their hotbar doesn't show any of that. Also, they just entered the end, so how else would they legitimately get elytra? So using these new tools and just cropping a fake hotbar over their screen, they kill the Ender Dragon, but it looks like they have so many plugins running, the endgame portal doesn't even work, so they just cut the footage. What in tarnation? This speedrunner starts off by getting wood, building tools, and exploring a mine shaft for extra loot. They find pretty normal looking loot like a few gold ingots, some armor, and an ender pearl. After a while of exploring, they go back to the surface and they throw the ender pearl, which is a complete waste because they're gonna need it for the Eyes of Ender. Are you serious? Okay, so them magically teleporting to the stronghold was clearly fake, but it can't get worse, right? Well, they start looting chests in the stronghold, and they find some diamonds, some bread, an AC-130. Wait, what?
Our AC-130 is in the air.
This one was legit. This speedrun, I'm apologizing in advance for the brain cells you're about to lose. World generation looks normal, their spawn looks normal, loot looks good. Okay, now wait a second. Maybe they could have gotten away with the enchanting bottles, but a diamond pickaxe and a sharpness 1000 book? Yeah, right. We'll let it slide for now. They go to the brewing stand and oh look, a villager left some blaze powder in it. How convenient. The speedrunner tries to apply their sharpness 1000 enchantment to the wooden sword, but it doesn't work, so they just equip the book instead. Weird. But when they use it as a weapon, it's a one-hit KO. Ah yes, the one-punch book. Now, I love Marvel movies, especially Doctor Strange, but this part is just too much for me. I'm not sure how this is possible, but they're in a completely different village now. And then they jump down this hole, and the fabric of reality is torn in half. They return to the original village, and they casually loot it for food, as if none of that portal sorcery just happened. On top of that, they just casually walk by this floating portal to a different dimension. They jump down the well, but instead of the well, it's a hall hallway that leads directly to the stronghold. And it has 11 Eyes of Ender in it, which is impossible. Right when they enter the end, they suddenly have slow falling, and at this point, the speedrun moderators are probably impressed. They actually waste a lot of time waiting for the dragon to perch, despite having a book that can one-hit KO anything. Finally, they realize they have to break the end crystals to make the dragon perch, so they attempt breaking one of them, and they die by accident. Honestly, if you consider magic as tool-assisted, this was a great speedrun. This speedrun actually has a professional start to it. They spawn in a village, take a bed in a crafting table, but then there's this weird tree that has a sign on it that reads, "I am a tree," with apples and item frames. He breaks the base of the tree and falls through a trapdoor to the stronghold. There's a chest that has 3 ender pearls and iron boots, and an end portal that only needs 1 Eye of Ender. The chances of this happening is literally 1 in a trillion. But the speedrunner can't actually complete the portal, so this is the end of the run, right? Wrong. He jumps into the lava and there's a secret cavern beneath it that has an unusually tall ruined nether portal in it. But there's ancient debris near it, so this is clearly fake. They find 1 block of obsidian and flint and steel in the chest, and there's conveniently 1 empty spot on the portal to fill. They light the portal, enter the nether. Wait a second. How are they running so quickly on soul sand? They conveniently find a bastion, and there's a door that leads to an enchantment table. No, wait, why are they leaving? The speedrunner instead jumps down a ditch, lands on a blaze spawner, and the button they press gives them 1 blaze rod. Totally legit. They go down a hallway with 16 ancient debris, which isn't even possible, and it leads back to the nether portal. Why aren't they going through the portal? They throw an ender pearl and find another lit nether portal, and it leads them to the middle of nowhere. I don't think they understand how speedruns work. They go up to an oak tree in a desert, which isn't even possible, and remember what happened last time when they broke a tree? Well, this must be the newest feature. So they're in the end, but they have no blocks to bridge to the— I can't watch this anymore. And oh look, a ladder, how convenient. With no shame whatsoever, the speedrunner fights in a grueling battle against this Wish.com recreation of the Ender Dragon and beats the game. Who did they think they were fooling? This speedrunner starts off by getting wood, jumping in the ocean and taking a swim, and then he crafts a minecart. Wait, this is the wrong footage. This speedrun starts off fairly normal. They have a legitimate looking world creation screen, but when they load in, it clearly says changed game mode to survival, despite the terrible job at cropping it out. On top of that, the player has blocks on their hotbar and nonchalantly throws them into the ocean as if it never happened. Oh yeah, they spawned in an ocean. Remember the creative world from earlier? Coincidence? I think not. Well, maybe they can redeem themselves. Wait, no, why are they mining stones with their hands? Ah yes, a conveniently placed barrel right at spawn full of water-breathing potions. The only thing that would be even more convenient would be an underwater shipwreck full of overpowered loot, am I right? You've gotta be kidding me. This kid really placed stacks of netherite blocks, Eyes of Ender, and end portal frames and thought they could get away with it. Well, it's still early in the run. They can still redeem themselves, right? Wrong. They must have gone in creative and built this nether portal and another barrel full of more unnecessarily overpowered loot. They only take the flint and steel and try to light the portal, but quickly realize that they built the portal incorrectly. But it's fine, they've got a plan. The speedrunner tries making the end portal, and after a few minutes of trying to figure out why the portal won't work, they realize they forgot to place an eye, but even then, it still doesn't work. I can't watch this anymore. Naturally, they try to make another end portal, and they mess that one up too. Third time's a charm, right? After wasting 5 minutes being bad at cheating, they finally get to the end, but they realize that they never got any tools. So they waste another 5 minutes trying to figure out how the /give command works. After legitimately getting a netherite pickaxe, you can see they turn on keep inventory, even after they tried to crop it out of the video. Not sure why they'd need that on. Roll the clip. That's right, they use the /kill command that even kills themselves. But it's okay, they're making great time. After shamelessly respawning and returning to the end, they almost get killed by an Enderman and beat the game. In this first speedrun, the player spawns in the middle of nowhere and immediately starts following dirt path blocks, which don't ever spawn outside of villages like this. And the path leads to a village. Not suspicious at all. On top of that, one villager house is marked with a mismatched wood plank. The speedrunner goes into this house and there's another section to it, which isn't even a vanilla feature of Minecraft. Inside the room is a chest and the only thing inside it is a lever, which is literally useless. What's he gonna do with a lever? Well, they place the lever and use it and everything goes dark. They type in chat saying, "Sorry, I turned off the lights by accident." And when they turn the lights back on, there's a ruined nether portal that's completely filled. He has a full arsenal of weapons and a literal army of tamed wolves protecting him. Buddy, I think a lot more happened than the lights going out. The only thing that would have been even more convenient is if flint and steel fell from the sky, but that would never— You've gotta be kidding me. The speedrunner then lights the portal, goes to the nether, but then types in chat saying, "This place stinks, see ya?" But without Eyes of Ender, they're never going to find the stronghold. What in tarnation? Okay, so he's in the stronghold, but he has no Eyes of Ender. You're probably wondering how they plan on getting to the end. Well, it looks like he left clicks on the end portal frames and fills them with eyes, but he has no Eyes of Ender in his inventory. This guy's putting in almost as much effort as Dream to hide the fact that he's cheating. The speedrunner enters the end, but he has no weapons or armor to fight the— Wait, why isn't the dragon even moving? It looks like the speedrunner spawned in a mannequin dragon, and then surprise, surprise, they get out their light switch and turn off the lights. And the dragon is gone and they beat the game. I just lost so many brain cells. This speedrunner starts off pretty normal. They get wood, build tools, and then they get lucky and find a village. The loot looks normal and they move on with their speedrun. Next, you'd expect the speedrunner to go to the nether, but instead they go in a cave and start strip mining. And all of a sudden they're in the stronghold. What in tarnation? Now they're in the stronghold, but they don't have ender pearls or blaze rods. Well, they find a chest that has some clearly fake loot in it. Ender pearls, blaze rods, golden apples, a tank. Wait, what? This one was legit. This speedrun, I'm apologizing in advance for the brain cells you're about to lose. World generation looks normal, spawn looks normal, timer looks normal. Okay, now wait a second. Their loot is clearly fake and they must have borrowed their timer from Dream because it starts going backwards. Then they go into another villager house and there's a villager inside trapped in a ditch, and it's an expert level cleric. Totally legit. Right outside of that house is a mound of dirt with a blank sign. Gee, I wonder what's underneath the dirt. Ah yes, the nether. The worst part is they just now realize they've been in creative this whole time, so they shamelessly changed their game mode to survival, revealing their entire command history. This is painful to watch. After going into survival mode, they enter the nether and vanquish the blaze, but it looks like their custom spawner stopped working, so there's a shameless cut to the run where a bunch of blaze just appear out of nowhere. And to make up for the lost time, their timer starts going backwards again. So they craft some Eyes of Ender, throw them in the sky. Wait, why are they going the opposite direction? And they discover a wish.com version of the stronghold at only 7 seconds into the run. I guess they decide they're just too good at Minecraft, so they start throwing all of their Eyes of Ender into lava. Once they're in the stronghold, there's a shamelessly obvious cut where they go into creative and just start levitating to the surface. At this point, the speedrun moderators are probably impressed because the timer has just completely stopped. After realizing that the dragon won't perch because there are leftover end crystals, they go into creative and die by accident. Naturally, the run just keeps on going, but even cheating, this speedrunner still can't kill the dragon, and he dies again. After another shamelessly obvious cut, there is a literal truckload of TNT spawned in, and they still can't beat the dragon. After their speedrun timer goes into the negatives, it looks like their game broke as well, because the dragon becomes completely non-responsive, and in world record time, they beat the game at -4 minutes and 20 seconds. Wait a second, the speedrunner's using my Minecraft skin. That's not me. This speedrunner starts off by getting wood, building tools, and they get lucky and find a village. They loot the village, and it all seems pretty normal. An iron pickaxe, some armor, some bread, a banana. Wait, what? Yeah, clearly the speedrunner is using mods because last time I checked, bananas are not in vanilla Minecraft. But the best part is that it isn't food, it's a weapon. After he decimates a herd of cows with a banana, he walks over to what appears to be a small pool of water, but it's an end portal lake. This must be a new feature. Once they're in the end, they break all of the end crystals and unleash chaos with the banana. Totally legit. In this speedrunner, the players aim downwards when they spawn, which isn't possible, and when they turn around, there's a dungeon underground with a sign that says, "Over here." Yeah, right. And it conveniently has tools, wood, and ender pearls. After wasting a few minutes aimlessly traveling in the forest, there is a very obvious cut to the run where you can see it says set own game mode to survival, and he has 64 obsidian now. I think this player's taking the whole speed run thing too seriously because they make the nether portal so sloppily that it won't even work, and they don't even have flint and steel. But there's another cut to the run where they clearly were in creative mode because the portal's remade, lit, and they suddenly have flint and steel. Yeah, this'll go right over the speedrun moderators' heads. I hope you won't be surprised when I say that once he's in the nether, there's another cut, and he's suddenly at the nether fortress. Totally legit. Once he encounters Blaze though, he realizes he's going to die without shield or armor, and then just stares at the ceiling. And suddenly, he has armor. Wow, this guy should play the lottery. So he gears up with this newly found armor and dies. But instead of giving up, he puts text on the screen saying, "Didn't see that." And then magically is in the stronghold and says, "This is not cheat." Let me see here. Yeah, that checks out. Once he's in the end, I guess he has Elytra now because he's flying and things can only go down from here. Literally. Yeah, Yeah, all that hard work and he just dies. I was really rooting for this guy. This speedrunner starts off by getting wood, killing a cow, and then building a house. Wait, this is my vlog footage. This speedrunner titles his world First Speedrun Attempt. Yeah, right. On their first attempt, they spawn on an island and there's a netherrack block on the ground and an Eye of Ender just lying around. Casual. But wait a second, what's that in the distance? Ah yes, a floating lit nether portal. They return to their tree marked with netherrack and start getting wood, and underneath it is a chest full of black concrete. I don't remember this being a vanilla Minecraft feature. They make a crafting table and a pickaxe and literally discover an X marks the spot. They must have spawned on Treasure Island because there's a chest underneath full of end portal frames. You've gotta be kidding me. And there's conveniently an area dug out that perfectly fits an end portal. Then the speedrunner tries speed bridging, emphasis on tries because he falls. And when he gets back up, he tries jumping and he falls again. Even cheating, this guy is terrible. And he falls again. This is painful to watch. After falling again for the 4th time, I guess he gets frustrated and ends up just changing his game mode and doesn't even try to hide it. Finally, he's in the nether portal. Wait, why did he stop? There's a shamelessly obvious cut where he gives himself a shield. Seeing at how bad he is at parkour, he's gonna need that shield. When he's in the nether, he drops down a hole that has water at the bottom of it, which is literally impossible. And he spawned right next to a nether fortress. After wasting a hilariously long time trying to kill a blaze with his fists and almost dying, he steps on a pressure plate that opens a secret wall compartment, and inside of the chest, you've gotta be kidding me. The armor in the chest has protection 32,000, and the diamond sword has sharpness 69,420. And this amazing loot is all thanks to the pee-pee trader. He returns to the overworld, fills the end portal, and just to make sure it's the right one, he throws a couple Eyes of Ender. Yep, looks good to me. Once he's in the end, the speedrunner fights in a grueling battle against a Wish.com recreation of the Ender Dragon and beats the game. This speedrun is interesting because the speedrunner is using a face cam. At first, everything is normal. He spawns in, finds a village, and starts taking the beds for the Ender Dragon battle. He gets very lucky finding obsidian, iron, and bread in a chest, and then he crafts some tools. But here's where things start to get weird. He starts to attack the iron golem for loot, and while he's hitting it, he gets up and leaves. And who's playing the game? Well, he gets the iron and makes a bucket, and the speedrunner comes back onto the camera, and he's eating a sandwich. Is this guy using the controller with his feet? Anyways, he builds the nether portal, crafts flint and steel, and while he lights it, he's literally eating a sandwich and on his phone. I think someone's playing a prank on me. So he enters the nether and conveniently finds a bastion, but he falls and pulls off this insane clutch. Wait a second, is that cat playing the game? What in tarnation? He ends up finding a huge vein of gold blocks and throws 75 gold ingots into a pit of 5 trapped piglins, yielding him 13 ender pearls, which is actually extremely lucky. The speedrunner then changes their render distance and field of view, which is a common practice among professional speedrunners. And in doing so, they discover a nether fortress across the lava lake. So they ender pearl to it and quickly find a blaze spawner. And luckily, they drank a fire resistance potion earlier, so battling the blaze was a breeze. But wait a second, the speedrunner is literally taking a nap on camera, so who's fighting the blaze? I'm so confused. So while the speedrunner is literally asleep, someone is playing the game and building the nether portal, and they return to the overworld. He crafts Eyes of Ender, throws an eye, and then starts traveling in that direction. Luckily, the speedrunner wakes up from his nap and wait a second, he comes back and literally has a Batman costume on. Then he shows off his strength training routine. This is a joke, right? He finds the stronghold, fills the portal, and enters the end. But while he's waiting for the dragon to perch, I guess he breaks out his clarinet? Listen, I'm a musician myself, but my ears are in pain. And while he's jamming out for his next jazz solo, someone is beating the Ender Dragon. Wait a second, his controller was never even plugged in? I can't tell if this guy is cheating or he's just extremely talented. This speedrun has some questionable methods. The speedrunner finds a village and a desert temple right next to it. They get some normal looking loot, but when they come back up, there's suddenly a ruined nether portal outside. And there's conveniently flint and steel and obsidian in the chest. Totally legit. So they complete the portal, light it, and enter the end. They find the nether fortress, get some blaze rods, but here's where things start to get fishy. Everyone knows you can't sleep in the nether. Well, they put a bed down and go to sleep. I have no idea how. And when they wake up in the stronghold. What in tarnation? After looting a couple chests, they come across this one chest and they find a dragon egg? this one was definitely legit. This speedrunner cheats in a way like I've never seen before. He starts off by getting some wood and then wastes a bunch of time breaking all the tree leaves. Okay. Well, when he's done, there's suddenly a stack of wood lying in the ground right next to this cow. Not suspicious at all. Then suddenly a cow flies right past him. I'm so confused. After these very strange events, the speedrunner crafts some tools and finds a village. And inside the village is everything you'd expect. A farm, a house, a well, a cow dropping a golden apple. Wait a second. Did that cow just poop out a golden apple? And an iron pickaxe, an axe, and diamond armor? This guy is so lucky that there's some magical cow pooping out loot. This is the weirdest speedrun I've ever seen. After these unusual events, things just get weirder. The speedrunner loots the farm for some food, and the cow literally starts building the nether portal. I can't believe my eyes. Whoever that cow is though, I don't think they know how to build a portal correctly. After struggling for what seems like minutes, the cow then lights the portal and goes into the nether, and the speedrunner follows it. The speedrunner legitimately got really lucky because he spawned in right next to a bastion, which means he can quickly trap a piglin, trade, and get ender pearls. Well, he explores the bastion and eventually does trap a piglin for trading, and the piglin must be friends with that magical cow because he starts tossing eyes of ender and end portal frames. What in tarnation? The speedrunner builds the end portal, enters the end, and this next part is just the icing on the cake. He breaks all the end crystals, and when the dragon perches, another dragon comes out of nowhere and starts fighting. How is any of this possible? After an epic battle, the second dragon kills the original one, and somehow it enters the portal as well. This speedrunner must be on the newest Minecraft update because I am so confused. This speedrun, I'm confused whether they're cheating or their game is haunted. They spawn in and immediately get wood, then they make 2 wooden pickaxes, which is oddly specific. Then they go up this hill and wait a second. What's that? If I slow down the footage, that looks just like Herobrine? I don't know whether to be creeped out or confused, but things continue to get weirder. The speedrunner then makes a house, but if I freeze frame the footage, you can literally see Herobrine on the side of the screen. And the speedrunner puts some of his items in the chest, then you can hear the chest open and close. When the speedrunner opens his chest, all of his items are gone. After the house being haunted, the speedrunner leaves the area and eventually finds a forest where all the trees have no leaves. Okay. He follows the path made by the trees, which leads to a ruined nether portal that literally builds itself. What in tarnation? He loots the chest and finds some useful items like 2 swords, a shovel, and some iron nuggets. Then he enters the nether portal, and after perusing the nether, he finds what seems to be a trail of mushrooms that conveniently lead him to a nether fortress. Well, there's a suspicious amount of blaze spawned, and look who's here again. All of a sudden, every blaze dies at the same time, and these blaze rods just appear out of nowhere. After these very, very lucky events, the speedrunner leaves the nether, which isn't smart, considering they never found a bastion to get ender pearls. But just wait till you see what happens. When they get back to the overworld, they wander around for a while until they find a trail of ender pearls in the ground. After the trail ends, they have more than enough ender pearls, so they just start digging straight down, and they find the stronghold. How convenient. As they're trying to find the end portal, look who stopped by to visit. Herobrine. Even after completing the end portal, Herobrine is somehow there again. As if the speedrun wasn't haunted enough already, when they get to the end, the speedrunner stands in the middle of the end island, and every end crystal is broken without him moving a muscle. And when the dragon perches, you can see someone landing on the ground next to it, and then the dragon instantly dies. But this is the weirdest part. Before the speedrunner enters the endgame portal to complete the speedrun, you can hear footsteps behind them, and when they turn around, the speedrun cuts to black. What a cliffhanger. This speedrunner starts off in a village, then he goes to the nether, and then he enters the port. Wait, this is the wrong footage. This next speedrunner is Dream, or at least I think it is. He spawns in a village and finds some pretty normal looking loot. Some wood, a fishing rod, grass seeds, and an enchanted book. Then he makes a crafting table and a bow. Seems legit to me. But then he applies the enchanted book to the bow and it's infinity. How is this even possible? He loots more chests and finds some wood, some iron, a bucket, and this next chest, he conveniently finds flint, diamond, and just enough obsidian to make a nether portal. So he makes the nether portal and enters the end, and he's completely surrounded by lava, but it looks like there's a nether fortress in the distance. Now, how is he gonna get over there? Okay, now I know what the infinity enchantment was for. I'm not even sure if this is possible, but that clutch was actually really impressive. But here's where things start getting really suspicious. He gets into the nether fortress and kills a blaze, but remember that enchanted axe that he got from the chest earlier? Well, it drops unnatural amounts of blaze rods. 4 stacks? Not fake at all. Somehow he glitches his boat and launches himself across the nether, conveniently back to the portal. Now remember his looting luck with the blaze? Well, when he gets back to the overworld, there's an enderman conveniently waiting for him. Coincidence? I think not. And it drops 3 stacks of ender pearls. So he makes eyes of ender, throws them into the sky to determine the stronghold location, and once again launches himself across the map with his magical enchanted boat, and he conveniently lands right into a village. Nice. Then he makes 1 bed, jumps into the water, and wait a second, is that the stronghold? I don't think the speedrun monitor moderators were fooled by this one. So he fills the end portal with eyes, enters the end, and as soon as they enter the end, the dragon just dies. Alright, so it's possible this wasn't dream. This speedrun looks normal. Normal loading screen, normal spawn, normal timer, but let me tell you, it's not normal. They spawn right near a ruined nether portal. Yeah, real ruined. It's complete, which isn't even possible. They open the chest next to it and they find some regular old Minecraft loot. A golden pickaxe, a golden hoe, a fishing rod. Like I said, pretty normal Minecraft stuff here. Well, just wait. The speedrunner wastes time trying to place obsidian on one corner of the portal, even though it would have worked fine without it. I don't think they understand how speedrunning works. So they light the portal. Wait, why are they walking away? They start fishing, and is that a steak? This guy is so lucky. He just fished 34 cooked steaks out of thin air. I am so confused. They fish again, and this time they get a diamond shovel with literally every enchantment you could possibly think of. Totally legit. So yeah, they just casually use this magical fishing rod to get a beacon, a diamond pickaxe, a diamond sword, and by the end of their deep sea fishing expedition, they have a full set of enchanted diamond armor with more enchantments than subscribers I have on YouTube. They waste a bunch of time collecting dirt with their special shovel, then they enter the nether. But their chat clearly says set own game mode to survival, and they spawn not only in a nether fortress, but right in front of a blaze spawner. Not suspicious at all. And when they start fighting the blaze, one blaze drops 64 blaze rods. Let's see here. One blaze equals 9,000 blaze rods. Yeah, that math checks out. So after completely obliterating everything in sight, they leave the nether fortress and travel to a very specific location where they trap a seemingly normal piglin to trade. And would you look at that, there's conveniently nether gold ore above them. How lucky? So they mine the gold and get 49 gold ingots, and here's where they goofed up. They try to make gold ingots, but they realize they need a crafting table to do so, but they don't have any wood to make a crafting table. So there is a very subtle cut to the speedrun where it looks like they just opened their inventory, but you can see the piglin on the right completely disappear, and their 49 gold ingots magically turned into 1 gold ingot. Yep, looks normal to me. So they drop this 1 gold ingot down to the trapped piglin to trade, and out of nowhere the piglin dies and drops like 1 billion kajillion ender pearls. I have so many questions. So they craft Eyes of Ender, then they try to find their way back to the nether portal. On the way there, they run into some wither skeletons, and their enchanted diamond sword must have knocked back 1,000,000 because they literally launched it into the quantum realm. After wasting time trying to find their portal, the speedrunner decides it's okay to just speed up their speedrun. But if I slow down the footage and go frame by frame, you can see they went into spectator mode, located the portal, and they went back into survival mode and didn't even try to hide it. And it just gets worse. They return to their original portal, but as soon as they return to the overworld, they complete the challenge Subspace Bubble, which can be achieved by entering the nether, traveling 875 blocks, and then returning to the overworld with a new portal, which means this guy's a big stinky cheater. So he throws an Eye of Ender and it conveniently goes beneath him. The speedrunner digs down and they fall right into the stronghold portal room without getting the I Spy advancement. And the icing on the cake, the portal is complete. You're literally 2 million times more likely to be struck by lightning. They enter the end and wait a second, why is the Ender Dragon dressed like the Incredible Hulk? Instead of actually fighting the dragon, they waste a bunch of time using their magical fishing rod, and they get the Horn of Gabriel, and this happens. Somehow the Ender Dragon died from the flash of light, and they beat the game. This wasn't a speedrun. This was a whole damn Netflix series. This speedrunner is Technoblade? Well, the chat says set own game mode to survival, and they're already level 4, so this is about as real as that time my dad left for milk and said he'd come back. Also, the tree in front of them is already broken, and to top it off, they break 1 log just for the sake of making this look legit. So they turn around, and ahead of them is what appears to be a Wish.com nether portal and 2 chests. Inside the first chest is what you'd expect from a kid cheating in a Minecraft speedrun, full netherite armor. And in the second chest, there's some arrows, some golden apples, the netherite epic gamer weapon. Wait a second, what? This one was definitely legit. This speedrunner starts off in creative mode. On top of that, the video suddenly cuts to a timer starting, even though they already started playing. Yeah, this speedrun is really promising. So they break wood in creative mode, but the blocks don't even drop. Despite that, the video jump cuts to a crafting table, and he suddenly has wood, planks, and sticks. But wait, there's more. Why is there a desert eagle on the side of the screen? I guess they changed their mind about cheating, so they're suddenly in survival mode now. And you know what? I'll give them a get out of jail free card here. After mining some cobblestone, they go back to their crafting table to make a stone pickaxe, and after that they mine iron ore. Pretty normal Minecraft stuff here, but just wait. They smelt the iron ore to get iron nuggets, and they craft a— wait, that's not a pickaxe. Yeah, so it's possible the speedrunner is using some illegal mods here. Last time I checked, desert eagles aren't in vanilla Minecraft. Well, they proceed to use the desert eagle to just destroy everything in front of them. And did I mention they're in creative mode again? The speedrunner then travels to a cave, and they use the desert eagle to mine for diamonds. Totally legit. There's a sudden cut in the speedrun, and all of a sudden they get a free upgrade. They proceed to obliterate the cave. And it just continues to get worse. There's another shameless cut to the video, and they just happen to find a rocket launcher. After another cut, their rocket launcher changed color from yellow to green, and even though they're clearly trying to use it, it's not working until Minecraft freezes and this happens. They literally nuked their Minecraft world, and the speedrunner did all of this just to find some diamonds. This is painful to watch. And if you're wondering if it gets worse, it does. The speedrunner proceeds to spend the next 10 minutes sniping these endermen, and there's a shameless cut to him magically having a stack of Eyes of Ender. I feel physical pain for the speedrun moderators who had to watch this. So he digs down and finds a stronghold, all normal Minecraft stuff here. After wasting even more time trying to find the ender portal, the speedrunner breaks out some of his tools from earlier. Needless to say, he finds the portal very quickly. So he fills the portal with Eyes of Ender, and the dragon battle was a piece of cake, considering he has an atomic bomb. The speedrunner opens their timer and shows they beat the game in 14 seconds, which is rookie numbers. I mean, come on, he couldn't even get beneath 1 second? What a noob, am I right? This speedrunner starts off by riding a minecart, using his elytra to fly in the sky, and then he fights a ravager. Wait, this is the wrong footage. This is probably the luckiest speedrun I've ever seen. But we're just gonna pretend it doesn't say set on game mode to survival, and on top of that, they're already level 7. So they either were in creative mode before the speedrun started, or they must be so fast at leveling up, we just didn't see it. So they spawn in on a seemingly random location, but I don't remember island minecarts being a vanilla Minecraft feature. What in tarnation? They open the minecart chest, and there's a netherite pickaxe, a single obsidian block, and flint and steel. As if the netherite pickaxe isn't enough proof for this being fake, I wonder what the obsidian and flint and steel is for. Perhaps a nether portal? Well, listen to what the speedrunner says in his microphone.
Let's dig in a very completely random spot.
What a coincidence. A nether portal? This guy is really lucky because he conveniently has one obsidian block for the one missing spot on the portal. Coincidence? I think not. So he fills the portal, lights it, and enters the nether. When in the nether, he opens the chat box and shamelessly shows his entire command history. Survival mode, creative mode, changing the time. Yeah, he's not even trying to hide the fact that he's cheating. Well, it gets worse. He says this.
Now I'm just gonna do like a completely useless command.
And he gives himself a blaze rod. Yeah, a blaze rod during a speedrun, completely useless. So he exits the nether, returns to the surface, and on the opposite side of the island, oh look, another chest! And what do you know, it has a single ender pearl in it to go with this single blaze rod. So he crafts an Eye of Ender, and the speedrunner actually has the gabagools to say this.
I wonder how I got that.
Buddy, you're cheating. That's how you got it. Right next to the chest is a hole with water at the bottom of it. So he drops down into it, and he found the end portal. Totally legit. Miraculously, he has one Eye of Ender for the one missing slot on the end portal. Like I said, this guy's just lucky. So he fills the portal and enters the end, and then he just starts looking desperate. The speedrunner types in chat, /die. This is painful to watch. After the speedrunner realizes he's so bad at Minecraft that he has no idea how to beat the dragon, even while cheating, there's a sudden jump cut to the speedrun, and the dragon is gone. And the speedrunner says this.
I guess that's a new world record.
This speedrunner starts off spawning in a forest. They immediately walk to a tree and start mining it, and underneath it is a barrel, but it's empty. So they must have forgotten to fill it before they started the speedrun. They start hitting the mobs for food, but they aren't moving, and they're floating in midair. So the speedrunner definitely spawned them in prior with command blocks. After forgetting to fill their secret barrel, they resort to plan B and craft some tools. And then they find a wall that's suspiciously covered by stone. So they start mining it, but it's taking a lot of time. Wait, why are they walking away? And a new enchanted pickaxe literally falls from the sky. And it has a higher enchantment level than subscribers I have on YouTube. You've got to be kidding me. Needless to say, he mines a lot quicker now. The speedrunner finds a ruined nether portal that's only missing a few obsidian. And would you look at that, he finds obsidian in the chest. But it's not enough. Even cheating, this guy is terrible. With no shame left, the speedrunner just looks down at the ground. And when he looks back up, the nether portal is lit. Even though it's not even complete, not suspicious at all. They go to the nether but waste a ton of time trying to find a nether fortress. All of a sudden, there's a cut to the speedrun, but it seems like nothing is different. They're still wasting a bunch of time. Wait a second, what? They just killed a strider and it dropped 32 blaze rods. Is that even possible? Clearly they don't need a nether fortress anymore, so they go back to the nether portal. But it's somehow not lit anymore. And I think they did this for a reason. They explore a little more and they find a bastion. But instead of trading with a piglin for ender pearls, they hit a button on the wall that uncovers a secret wall compartment. Inside of the chest is a stack of ender pearls. And this amazing loot is all thanks to the PP merchant. They go back to the original nether portal and somehow it's lit again. They return to the overworld and now they just need to find the stronghold. So naturally they craft Eyes of Ender, throw them, and follow its direction. Wait, why are they walking away? Instead, the speedrunner decides to craft a boat and they conveniently find a flowing stream of water. And it leads them directly to the stronghold. The speedrunner finds their way to the end portal pretty easily, considering every other path is blocked off by cobblestone. This has to be a joke. So they fill the portal and enter the end. And out of nowhere, they start flying. As if they're in creative mode, but their hotbar hotbar doesn't show any of that. So using creative mode and cropping a fake hotbar over their screen, they vanquish the dragon and beat the game. What incarnation did I just watch? This speedrunner starts off by locating a village. They take some beds, search the chests, and the loot looks pretty normal. Some armor, some bread, some emeralds, and after a while of exploring the village, they find a nearby cave, but something about it looks unusual. Anyways, they find a minecart with a sign next to it that reads roller coaster, and it brings them to the stronghold. Totally legit. Well, this is pretty cringe, but it can't get worse, right? Well, they start searching the stronghold for loot, and they find some armor, some golden apples, a black hole. Wait, what? This one was legit. This speedrunner must be Doctor Strange's cousin because it's pretty magical. They spawn in the middle of nowhere. See? Nothing. They turn around and when they look back again, there's suddenly a village. Hold on, I gotta clean my glasses. And they're suddenly level 41? How is this possible? So they go into the village and start searching the chests. And the loot looks pretty normal. Some oak saplings, some bread. Wait, why are they closing it? Oh, they're opening it again. What? In the blink of an eye, the chest suddenly is filled with iron tools, obsidian, and apples? This must be the newest feature. So they go into the next house and take a bed. Wait, what are they doing? And the beds somehow multiplied themselves. You know what? I work pretty hard on these videos. Maybe I'm just tired and this is all my imagination. So they mine some hay, they turn around, and okay, yeah, this guy's definitely cheating. Out of nowhere, a nether portal with flint and steel magically appear, but if I rewind the footage, there was nothing there. So they light their magical nether portal and enter the end. When in the nether, they look around and there's clearly nothing in front of them, until this nether fortress just spawns right in front of them. Also, there's conveniently a stack of netherracks suddenly on the ground. So they use the netherrack to build up to the nether fortress and start exploring it. Wait, why'd they stop? Well, they turn around and is that a blaze rod? They pick up the blaze rod and when they turn around, there's ender pearls on the ground. Okay, this speedrunner is really messing with my head now. They turn around again and oh look, the nether portal came back. It's nice to see the speedrun back to normal, but the nether portal brings them to the stronghold. You've gotta be kidding me. So they craft Eyes of Ender, fill the portal, and enter the end. But when they get to the end, something isn't right. The dragon is nowhere to be found. Its health bar is gone, and there's suddenly a chat box notification that Herobrine left the game. And just like that, they beat the game. I have so many questions. This speedrun starts off normal as usual, but that resource pack is just unpleasant to look at. The speedrunner jumps in the water, then mines a tree. Then they walk over to this strange emerald structure, and inside, wait, what's that floating in there? It's a pig. And did that pig just vomit netherite blocks? And a diamond pickaxe? Okay, that's gotta be the luckiest pig I've ever seen. So they make a crafting table and use it to make diamonds and sticks, even though they could have crafted that without the table. I don't think they know how to play Minecraft. Then the speedrunner finds a mysterious netherite emerald tree and a ruined nether portal. So they waste a ton of time mining this emerald tree, and they find a chest underneath it that has a free weapon upgrade inside. This guy's luck just keeps getting better and better. And inside the portal chest is a ton of obsidian and flint and steel. How convenient. So they finish the portal, light it, and enter the nether. But when they get to the nether, you can clearly see a floating potion bottle, and then the sound of someone drinking a potion. This must be the newest feature. Then they enter a conveniently mined tunnel and mine a bunch of gold blocks inside. And at the end of the tunnel is what appears to be floating particle effects. So this is definitely his friend with an invisibility potion. I guess he needs to wait for his friend's potion to wear off, so he just starts randomly mining blocks, and when he comes back, oh my gosh, this resource pack is cursed. I think that's supposed to be a piglin. The piglin starts pooping out ender pearls and blaze powder, even though the speedrunner never dropped his gold ingots. Totally legit. So they return to the overworld, but you can clearly see a floating bucket of milk. Not conspicuous at all. After running around for a while, wasting a ton of time, this random cow starts floating and poops out full netherite armor and end portal frames. And you can see the cow holding a potion. These guys are terrible at hiding the fact that they're cheating. After the magical cow ascends to the heavens, the speedrunner tries to make the end portal, and it's painful to watch. They try to make a second one, and they mess that up too. Third time's a charm though, right? Nope. On their fourth attempt, they miraculously build it correctly, and they enter the end. When they get to the nether, everything seems normal, except for when this floating farmer appears. And he seems pretty innocent. I mean, it's just a villager. Oh my goodness, that farmer is armed with a weapon! The villager proceeds to attack the ender dragon, beats it in one shot, and just like that, that, this speedrunner secured his place as the world record holder. This speedrunner starts off by finding a village, mining a tree, and then he crafts a house. Wait, this is the wrong footage. This speedrun has a timer, so we know it's legit. We'll just ignore the fact that there's a command block on the ground, they just set their game mode to survival, and they're level 21,000. Totally legit. The speedrunner immediately finds a suspicious looking hole with water at the bottom of it. And just like that, they found the stronghold. Before he walks through the door, you can see a pressure plate on the ground, and it gave him strength. So he clearly spawned this in creative mode. They open the chest, and there's golden apples, eyes of ender, and netherite armor. You know, just the usual Minecraft loot. And they waste like 30 seconds organizing the loot into their hotbar. I don't think they know how to speedrun Minecraft. And oh look, 2 more pressure plates. I wonder what those will do. Yeah, so he has a few more lives than a cat now. The speedrunner got pretty lucky finding those 60 eyes of ender in a chest, but he doesn't even need them because the end portal is already lit. You've got to be kidding me. So they enter the end, and the speedrunner proceeds to show off his sharpshooter skills by sniping the ender dragon with his bow and missing every single shot. Even cheating, this guy is terrible. After missing 50 shots, the dragon perches and the speedrunner vanquishes her in record time, beating the game in just under 3 minutes. This speedrunner starts off in the air, then they approach a wish.com recreation of a tree, and when they break it, inside is a bunch of items. Planks, sticks, and apples. Buddy, who are you trying to fool here? So they make a crafting table and craft some tools. A pickaxe, an axe, a shovel, and wait, what was that? You can hear the sound of someone breaking blocks. Well, they walk towards the sounds, and there's a gigantic hole. The speedrunner jumps down this suspicious ditch, and they fall directly into an ancient city. What in tarnation? They try to make a stone pickaxe using tough blocks, but it doesn't work. And all of a sudden, cobblestone just appears out of thin air. Okay. They craft a stone pickaxe and mine a ton of iron ore. But how are they gonna smelt that iron ore? Well, more cobblestone is just pooped from the sky. So they craft a furnace, make an iron pickaxe, and then they conveniently find diamonds. They leave the ancient city, and on their way out, they walk right past a warden, and it just stands there. The speedrunner runs through a lush cave, places their furnace, and they waste a ton of time smelting their 4 stacks of iron. But it's okay, because their portal just starts making itself. The speedrunner suspiciously walks to a specific area of the cave, but keep a close eye on their experience levels. There's an extremely subtle cut, and they walk back to their magical nether portal, and out of nowhere, the speedrunner suddenly has flint in their inventory. They craft flint and steel, light the portal, and enter the nether. And sometimes in the nether, pro speedrunners will utilize a strategy called render distance manipulation. This speedrunner tries to do that, but instead, they just start changing all of their Minecraft settings. Yeah, I don't think turning clouds on and off is gonna do anything for you, buddy. So he explores the nether, and wait, why is he walking off that cliff? What? Yeah, I kid you not, the path he's walking on is literally building itself. Well, he follows his yellow brick road, and after a while it leads him right to a bastion. The speedrunner actually finds some really good loot in the bastion, like blocks of gold and golden apples. But I have a feeling the piglins here are paid actors, because the speedrunner throws iron ingots at them, and they get 13 ender pearls. Maybe changing the cloud settings did do something. They make their way out of the bastion and back to their magical pathway, heading back to the nether portal. And once the speedrunner is in the overworld, they start using questionable methods to locate the stronghold. They start placing random blocks and signs with numbers on them. This guy's a real rocket scientist. But he presses F3, lines his crosshairs up with a very specific angle, and throws an ender pearl. And as soon as he lands, he just starts digging straight down, violating the #1 rule in Minecraft. But someone's gonna have to explain to me what he did, because somehow it worked. Yeah, he dug straight into a stronghold. And on top of that, the end portal only needs 2 more eyes of ender. But wait a second, when did the speedrunner get this blaze rod? He makes blaze powder and crafts an eye of ender, completes the portal, and enters the end. And so far, maybe the speedrunner could have gotten away with cheating, but when they're in the end, they walk to the edge of the island and they find Iron Man? This one was legit. This speedrunner spawns in the middle of nowhere and runs around for a bit. But wait a second, the speedrunner only has 4 hearts and no hunger bar? What in tarnation? As they explore the world, they locate a village. The speedrunner rummages through the houses and finds some decent loot. An iron pickaxe, an iron sword, 3 obsidian. They continue exploring, and on their journey, they kill some pigs for food. But the pigs are getting thrown super high. Something's funny, and it's not my low subscriber count. After spending a few minutes punching pigs into the sky, the speedrunner conveniently finds a ruined nether portal, and they have just enough obsidian to complete it. Coincidence? I think not. But there's just one problem. They don't have flint and steel. Well, they somehow managed to jump onto the top of the nether portal, and on top of it is flint and steel. Thanks, Mojang. So they light the portal, enter the end, nether, and everything seems normal. Until I started listening to the audio for the speedrun. I noticed that every time the player jumps, he sounds like Mario?
Nah, that can't be possible. So they waste a ton of time in the nether until they walk into a dead end. And watch what happens to see if you can spot what's wrong. The speedrunner very subtly made a cut to the speedrun, and after the cut, they travel directly to a bastion. In your dreams, buddy. They find some gold blocks, mine them, and turn them into ingots. Then they find a piglin conveniently trapped behind a wall. But instead of trading with it, they look up, break the block above them, and they get 3 ender pearls. Then they give their gold to the piglin. I don't think the speedrunner understands how trading works in Minecraft. After their completely legitimate means of trading, they continue exploring the nether until they reach a lava lake. Now, I was expecting them to, I don't know, bridge across it, but instead, yeah, somehow they just bounce their way across the nether. They eventually find a nether fortress and punch their way through some blazes, getting 3 blaze rods. And once again, they get right back to bouncing on the lava. But wait a second, is that a nether portal? Did the frame to this portal just grow legs and walk away? So he enters his bootleg nether portal and returns to the overworld. The speedrunner crafts Eyes of Ender, throws one, and goes in that direction. And on their way to finding the stronghold, they instead find a water slide? And it leads them directly to the stronghold. What in tarnation? So they find the portal and it has 2 eyes missing. Must be a lucky coincidence. So they fill the portal and wait, why are they going to third person? Is that Mario?
Here we go! It's me, Mario!
This baloney head just got the new Minecraft speedrun world record, playing as Mario.
This speedrunner starts off by finding a village. They get Frostwalker boots and test them out on the water. Then they mine some coal, harvest pumpkins, and walk on lava. Wait, this is the wrong footage.
This is the luckiest speedrun I've ever seen. They start off right outside of a desert temple. The speedrunner breaks this tree, and this must be a new 1.19 feature, because under this tree is buried a treasure chest. They find 64 oak logs, and the speedrunner says this.
Yo! I think this is like 1 in a billion chance.
So they enter the desert temple from the top of it, but while they're breaking the block, they have even more to say.
Seems like it's looted.
Yeah, it was definitely looted, buddy. We know you removed this pressure plate. They jump to the bottom and find stupid lucky items. Netherite armor, a diamond pickaxe, and 64 notch apples. The speedrunner breaks through the TNT, and they find diamond blocks, but it gets worse. Beneath the diamond blocks is the end portal. What in tarnation? Well, despite this speedrunner's miraculous luck, they waste a ton of time digging back up to the surface. Right outside of the desert temple is a ruined nether portal, and the loot inside of the chest is questionable. A netherite hoe? Okay. But they do get obsidian, a fire charge, and more notch apples, as if 64 weren't enough already. So they fill in the nether portal, but again, they waste a ton of time trying to find iron and flint. So the speedrunner searches the temple again, and after a few minutes, they finally realize they can use the fire charge to light the nether portal. This is painful to watch. So they light the nether portal and enter the end, I mean nether. And you know, it looks pretty normal. There's some netherrack, some trees, a chest that says do not take, but we don't have to worry. This speedrunner's a good guy. He's not gonna cheat, and he opened the chest. Also, there's ancient debris right in front of them, but they're so good they don't even need it. So the speedrun returns to the overworld, and again, they go back to their desert temple, diamond shrine, end portal bonanza. Fill the portal with eyes and enter the end. But wait a second, something's wrong, and I'll just let the speedrunner tell you.
Where's the Ender Dragon?
Out of nowhere, someone starts typing in chat saying, I already killed the Ender Dragon. You will have to face me.
向かってくるのか。
The speedrunner fights in a grueling battle against this Alibaba.com Ender Dragon, but halfway through, the Ender Dragon sets their game mode to survival. This is painful to watch.
Let's go! Dead, man, you're dead. You're actually dead.
And just like that, this speedrunner secured the world record 100% legitimately.
Subscribe and like.
Okay, before I click play on the speedrun, listen, I know it's fake, but this kid's microphone was so funny, there was just no way I couldn't include this in the video. The speedrunner falls down a hole with a chest at the end of it, and just listen to the reaction to what they find.
Oh my god!
Alright, that's enough of that. So yeah, the speedrunner finds some amazing loot in record time, and they also just happen to be right next to this conveniently placed end portal. They jump in the portal and... Yeah, they're still screaming in their mic. But wait a second, did you see that? I'll go back and play it again. In a matter of literal milliseconds, there's a cut to the speedrun and the timer somehow jumped ahead by 24 minutes. Honestly, I'm pretty curious what happened during that time. The rest of the speedrun is pretty normal, you know? They die 1, 2 times, their timer resets to 0 seconds, and they find a chest with flint and steel in it, as if that's gonna help them. I mean, come on, buddy, you have 640 golden apples, and you've still managed to die twice. But hang on on a second. Is their Minecraft skin the Rock? This speedrun is causing me physical pain. The speedrunner manages to die again, and they suddenly jump cut 27 minutes later, but they still have not beat the dragon. But it's okay, because their friend ends up killing the dragon for them. And it wouldn't be a fake Minecraft speedrun if their timer didn't malfunction again for the 4th time. This speedrun is gonna haunt me in my dreams. This speedrun is, well, just wait. They get very lucky by finding a village. The speedrunner equips their shears and wait, what just happened? Did he just remove that villager's? Oh, that is nasty. This speedrun starts off by finding a ruined nether portal. They do get very lucky by finding exactly what they needed. 2 fire charges, 3 iron ingots, and 2 obsidian. Just enough to complete the portal and light it. They enter the nether, and here's where things get wacky. We all know trees can spawn in the nether, but this speedrunner finds an oak tree? I just facepalmed. They break the tree and use their newfound wood to craft an iron pickaxe, but they waste a ton of time mining netherrack. Wait, what is he doing? I am absolutely flabbergasted. Well, they enter whatever this portal is called, and it brings them to the middle of nowhere. But they literally dig down a few blocks, and they're in the stronghold. Okay, so this is clearly fake, but it can't get worse, right? Well, they find a painting on the wall, which is impossible, because paintings don't spawn naturally. They right-click on the painting, and it opens a chest with a homing missile.
Friendly predator missile inbound.
That was intimidating. And I take back what I said. This one's legit. This speedrun starts off mostly normal. But hang on a second. Did you see that? I'll play it again. Yeah, this is Minecraft's first sighting of an unidentified flying object. Well, they carry on with their speedrun and break some trees for wood. But then they say this.
I think I'm lagging a little bit. I think I'm lagging. Oh, I think I'm lagging.
Yeah, I guess lag is the only thing that'll explain what just happened. So they take their newly found 31 oak logs and make a crafting table and some tools. And mentally prepare yourself because I think their computer is gonna start lagging again. They break this bush, immediately look up, and literally 1 freeze frame later, and there's diamonds. Ah yes, the dead bush. Minecraft's newest speedrun strategy. In a record time of 40 seconds, this speedrunner gets full diamond armor, and then they start attacking this innocent squid. Well, if I pause the video here, you can clearly see what looks like particle effects in the sky, and then you can barely hear the speedrunner whispering to someone saying this.
Drop steak in the water.
Wow, that sure was lucky. Who knew squid dropped 14 cooked steak? So the speedrunner approaches a cave and they find iron blocks, which were clearly spawned here in creative mode. But they're so bad at cheating, they quickly realize they can't even mine iron blocks with a wooden pickaxe.
You need a stone pickaxe to my iron blocks? Oh my.
The speedrun not only became night in a split second, but it also looks like the speedrunner magically shaved off a minute from their time. They find a water bucket lying around conveniently next to a lava pool, but if you ask me, I've never seen a naturally occurring lava pool like this. They proceed to show off their extreme speedrun portal building skills.
No! My lava!
Well, after self-sabotaging their only chance at going to the nether, the speedrun suddenly cuts to them being in the ocean. And luckily, they do find an underwater ruined nether portal. But after failing to mine the stone and quickly running out of air, the stone blocking their way completely disappears from thin air. Their computer's probably just lagging again. Then the speedrunner enters the nether and says this.
Guys, I think I'm lagging a little bit.
But as he says that, the speedrunner shamelessly types in a /locate command, reveals he's playing on a server by accidentally pressing tab, and teleports himself to a fortress. And this next part is my favorite.
Ah, I'm gonna die.
Dude, that perfectly cut scream gets me every time. After the speedrunner escapes like 1,000 near-death experiences, they turn around, break the blocks in front of them, and they conveniently find a blaze. What is it doing hiding there? Yeah, somehow the speedrunner negotiated a peace treaty with the blaze and got the rods without actually killing it. Shortly after, they find a piglin, but they throw diamonds at them and say this.
These are worth more than gold.
And they get ender pearls from the trade. Dream, take notes, buddy. The speedrunner returns to the overworld, approaches this very inconspicuous enderman, and says this.
Here, take some. I have enders, and lead me to the stronghold.
So the speedrunner follows the enderman, and at the end of the pilgrimage, they must have gone so fast that they went back in time, because their timer says 10 seconds. What in tarnation? They dig straight down right into the stronghold portal room, but wait a second, where did the end portal frame go?
Was this you, Enderman? Fix it right now or I'll kill your entire family.
Okay, well, after the speedrunner threatens the enderman, it fixes the end portal and they enter the end. And believe it or not, the speedrunner proceeds to have the most scuffed conversation ever with the ender dragon.
I'm destroying my end crystals.
Huh? You can talk?
Yes, I could. What else?
Come down here. Dragon, come down here.
Dragon, just stay back, stay back, stay back. Hey, Ender Dragon, let me win or I'll kill you.
Alright, fine, whatever. Go in.
Well, that was easy. He's a world record.
Okay, honestly, if there was such a thing as Minecraft pacifist speedrun, this guy would be #1. This speedrunner spawns in a village and finds an iron golem. They run through a savanna biome, fight a ravager, then vanquish the ender dragon. Wait, this is the wrong footage. This speedrun is pretty special because we were lucky enough to get subtitles. Yeah, this is gonna be hilarious. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, they're literally in creative mode. They changed their game mode back to survival, and they do say sorry, so I'm willing to give them a fresh start. The speedrunner breaks the wood blocks, and wait, this doesn't look like a block. Oh yeah, of course, it's the woodman. The speedrunner gets very lucky with the amount of wood they get, and it's all thanks to this very new and very legitimate mob. What have I gotten myself into? The speedrunner crafts some tools, and then they start mining stone. But after a very suspicious cut and the haste icon appearing, I'm beginning to think a wooden pickaxe is not actually this fast. But hey, I mean, they're making great time. After crafting new tools, they test out their stone sword on the seemingly regular pig, and everything looks normal, but literally one freeze frame later, and suddenly the drops multiply to 64 cooked pork chops. I'll tell you, buddy, these are dream level odds. The speedrunner says, okay guys, so I can't find a lava pool to go to the nether, but I have a solution. I'm actually scared. Ayo God, can you spawn a nether portal for me? Okay, I'm sorry, but if he really thinks that God is just gonna descend from the heavens and... What? All right, I stand corrected. So they enter their heavenly portal and enter the nether, and after spending like 5 seconds trying to find a fortress, the speedrunner announces that they just can't. But when they turn around, they find the Netherman. This must be another one of those new Minecraft mobs. So the speedrunner proceeds to follow the Netherman, and what do you know? He's brought directly to the nether. How convenient. Goodbye, Netherman. The speedrunner kills some blazes, gets 8 blaze rods, and returns to their nether portal. Once they return to the overworld, the speedrunner claims there is a 1 in a trillion chance you could find buried treasure with ender pearls in it. You learn something new every day. So they start digging into the sand, and you can guess what's about to happen. Totally legit. So the speedrunner crafts Eyes of Ender, throws one, and travels in that direction. But after a while of traveling, they start to get frustrated. So the speedrunner asks, is there anyone that can help me? And after a while of just pure silence, they find God, literally. And just like the stories in the Bible, God goes into creative mode and makes the end portal. The speedrunner enters the end, and they fight in a grubby battle against this Walmart Great Value Ender Dragon. This really was a blessed speedrun. This next speedrun is Danny DeVito eating a dozen eggs? This speedrunner starts off mid-jump, and are speedrunners allowed to use resource packs? The speedrunner enters a village house that shouldn't have a chest in it, but it does. And take a look at what they find.
Is that the legendary stick of Jesus? Oh my God.
I'm sorry, did he just say the stick of Jesus? Get ready to witness a miracle.
Okay, yes, it always gives you 5 iron.
Yeah, they cut their recording, so we're just gonna have to trust that they actually did get 5 iron ingots from that golem. As if this speedrunner wasn't already suspicious enough, listen to how conspicuous this goofball sounds.
I just need a crafting table. I'm gonna check in here. Oh my God, there's a crafting table. It's almost like I put that in there. No, I'm just kidding. I have to cut that out of the recording.
This guy sounds so guilty. There is no way this was submitted to speedrun.com. So yeah, they found a crafting table, made a bucket, and watch what happens when they attempt to make a nether portal.
Okay, guys,
This goober is such a bad liar. He makes those $10 billion inheritance emails look real.
now I need a flint. Okay, guys, I got a flint and steel.
Bruh. I guess he has flint and steel now, so he lights the portal and enters the nether.
All right. I'm in the nether. Now we just gotta go.
Go where? How is this the nether?
We can't. Oh, come on.
Where are you?
Okay, we don't have too long to do this.
Do what? Where is Minecraft?
I have to do this as fast as possible.
Do what as fast as possible? Do I live under a rock and miss some big new Minecraft update?
Okay, if we do this next level, it should give me enough stuff to actually get to the end.
Okay, now wait a second. What?
Please? Oh my God, no way. It worked. I have 127 totems.
Can someone confirm the legitimacy of the speedrun, please?
This should be where I can go down to get to the end. please. Is this right? Oh my god. God says good luck. I guess he misspelled it or something though.
I'm sorry, but do you really expect me to believe that God would misspell the word luck? This guy is such a fraud.
Well, I don't have blaze rods, but this ore seems kind of cool. What if I... Oh my god, it worked! It gave me blaze rods and pearls.
What? From golden ore? So they make eyes a vendor, fill the portal, and enter the end.
I got rid of crystals, have fun. Your dad. P.S. They're out of milk.
Oh my holy cannoli!
No! Okay, I will do this for my dad.
You can do it!
He went to the store to buy milk and he hasn't returned for 30 years. I need to do this to make him return. Oh my god, oh my god. I gotta go get the dragon. Yes! Let's go!
Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about!
Doomsday crisis diverted.
Wait, where's my dad?
So how about that new Nether update, huh? Look, you probably won't believe me, but this next speedrun is so cursed. Just take a look at how it starts. Are speedruns supposed to have intros? On top of that, we were fortunate enough to get some live commentary from the speedrunner.
So today we will be speedrunning. Let's go.
Oh, this is gonna be so goofy. They spawn right outside of a desert pyramid, and on the inside, things look a little unusual. A whole village of torches. And I'm pretty sure this block is supposed to be blue. That's not all what's wrong here. Roll the clip.
Break. Oh my god, there's water down here. Holy shit.
Okay, so it doesn't take a rocket scientist to conclude that this speedrunner is clearly cheating. But the main reason I included this in my video is because of how funny this guy's commentary is.
I have to get the TNT, so wait. Oh my god, it's another room.
Ah yes, this must be the hidden treasure room. Just like that, they beat the game. Nah, I'm kidding. Their end portal doesn't even work.
Hey, why does it not work? What? Hey, wait, give me a second. Technical
What was that cut?
And we are back.
Ah, it cracks me up every time. But wait, there's more.
Let's go. And now we are back, boys.
Even cheating, this kid is just terrible at the game. You gotta love how an actual professional speedrunner would probably kill the dragon quicker than this floating goofball.
The dragon is running away from us, guys. Look, he's such a coward.
And they're shooting arrows at the dragon while she's perched. This is just painful to watch. Luckily though, the end of the speedrun is the icing on the cake.
And we're back, guys. Oh my god, we beat the dragon. Holy shit.
Whoa, buddy, my videos are family friendly. No cursing here, come on.
Okay.
I really want to believe that this speedrun is legitimate because it is extremely professional. They have a timer, they have the tick rate updated, which means they're probably an experienced tool-assisted speedrunner, but just watch the speedrun, it's wacky. They dig straight down, finding a buried treasure chest, and it does look very normal. They take 6 iron ingots, 2 blocks of TNT, and craft a pressure plate. The speedrunner builds back up, and they get very lucky by finding a village.
Come on. Ah, dang it, I lost some time in the water.
See what I mean though? This guy seems like a very professional speedrunner. Well, hold on to your socks. The speedrunner then starts looting the village.
Oak saplings are super overpowered.
Believe it or not, this single oak sapling is the key to this entire speedrun. They finish grabbing 4 beds, then they use their TNT and pressure plate to blow up a house. A very efficient speedrunning strategy for getting cobblestone. Then, after the speedrunner gets their cobblestone, they build the portal. Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Make the portal, and boom.
They really had us in the first half. You're probably thinking, now that he's in the nether, the speedrunner's probably looking for a nether fortress or a bastion. But, just roll the clip.
Alright, there we go. Pretty lucky that I got that cave.
Well, that all happened very quickly. Luckily, the dragon begins to perch, and remember what the speedrunner said earlier about oak saplings? Well...
Run is so bad, alright? I can just finish it up. That was garbage. Woo, world record number like 17.
I am convinced this man is responsible for every submission on speedrun.com. To give you an idea of what to expect for this next speedrun, this is its thumbnail. Is Minecraft Steve okay?
Hey guys, welcome back to another video.
He was in creative, but he switched back to survival before starting the speedrun, so I'll give him a chance here.
We're gonna be speedrunning Minecraft, and this is totally real. So, oh wow, what is this? I think we found the rarest structure in Minecraft.
Actually though, I have never seen this structure before.
No way, guys. I think we just got the rarest structure in the game.
You know, it's just a hunch, but I think this is the rarest structure in Minecraft. The speedrunner casually acquired more weapons than FPS Russia, but now they're just stuck in this bottomless pit. Oh, I mean the rarest structure in Minecraft, and it is embarrassing how they get out of it.
Anyway,
Like I said, as long as he goes back to survival mode, it's fair game, right?
no way, bro. There was a full ender portal right here.
So the speedrunner uses the nether portal, and wait a second. What in the world is MSWP? Missouri State Water Patrol? No, that can't be it. Montessori School of Washington Park? No. Wait a second, I got it. Of course. It's Minecraft Super Wumbo Party. So they get to the nether, and it looks like they got a special mystery gift from Herobrine himself.
No way. Thank you, Herobrine. You're so cool.
The speedrunner returns to the overworld with their miraculous loot, and these next few moments are so ridiculously goofy.
No way, guys. We got 1 in a trillion chance.
I'm not really sure how the guns and endless diamonds are adding to this speedrun, but out of all the ways this guy could have cheated, this is how he decides to.
Ooh, no way. Why were there just ender pearls right here? Huh? Killed the dragon for you, Herobrine? That means we got the world record.
Alright, I guess if you want the new world record, just call up your old pal Herobrine. This speedrun looks normal, but it's not. They spawn in, find a village, and get some hay. Then the speedrunner starts punching this tree. And there's a very unusual series of cuts, where in a matter of seconds, we go from the tree to the inventory to a crafting table. Nothing seems different, but just wait. This is their cheating warm-up. As they approach an iron golem, it sounds like they're doing breathing exercises to physically prepare for the battle. The only problem here is that they built 2 blocks up, not 3, so the golem can still hit them. But just watch.
Hold up! Alright.
Totally legit. So they make some food, an iron pickaxe, and a bucket. But hang on a second. Did you catch that? When they make their iron pickaxe, they use up all of their iron. And after a very subtle cut, they suddenly have 4 iron ingots out of thin air. Either this guy is a magician or he's the worst cheater in the world. But I honestly don't know. He could be a magician. Watch this.
According to my calculations, if I mine down from this spot, I will fall into gravel. Oh, and would you look at that?
I'm assuming this was the same luck that Dream had in his speedruns too. The speedrunner crafts flint and steel and begins looting the villager houses. And again, did you see what just happened? If I replay the last few seconds in slow motion, there is another sly cut from this goofy goober. And this guy's middle name must be creative mode because you can just barely see that they changed their game mode. Again. Well, inside this chest is nothing spectacular, just a hunk of emeralds. Which begs the question, why did they go in creative mode? Well, these next few moments are the goofiest speedrun strats of all time.
Alright, let's see what this guy has to trade.
This guy's username is Slinky, but he should honestly consider changing it to Stinky. You saw it here first, the world's first 1 in a million villager trade. And with their newly found diamonds, they craft full diamond armor and tools. As if this speedrun wasn't already bad enough, you are about to witness the worst acting of all time.
Oh no, we're falling down a hole! Wait, what? What's this?
The speedrunner fell into a huge cave filled with literally every resource needed to make a nether portal. So naturally, they attempt to make a portal, emphasis on attempt.
Oh, come on!
And I kid you not, they actually wasted time on the clock watching a nether portal tutorial. This is just so embarrassing. After lots of practice though, of course, the speedrunner successfully builds a nether port. Wait a second. I would literally rather have explosive diarrhea than continue to watch this horrible speedrun. Whether we like it or not, the speedrunner is in the nether now, and I think they're gonna try and channel some of that dream luck from earlier. Because they start to mine into a random wall of netherrack, and watch what happens.
At least, oh my goodness, guys, we just found the nether fortress.
What in tarnation? So the speedrunner explores the nether fortress and finds a blaze spawner. After waiting a very long time for the blaze to spawn, I guess they just couldn't wait any longer, as the speedrun is cut and they receive a special delivery of a whopping 64 blaze rods. Santa came early this year. What a miracle. And if you were to ask me if the speedrun gets worse, just watch this next cut. They're in a totally different area and they suddenly have 23 gold ingots. So the speedrunner throws the gold at the piglins to trade and they get exactly 16 ender pearls. For each trade, there is a 2.18% chance of getting 2 to 4 ender pearls. To get 16 pearls from 4 gold ingots, this guy must be the luckiest man on earth. Or his name is Drew.
Let's go back to the nether portal now. I gotta be honest, I couldn't actually find the nether portal, so I just made this one.
Whenever you feel like you've hit a low in life, just remember this speedrun exists. Now that the speedrunner's back in the overworld, they craft Eyes of Ender and attempt locating the stronghold. They dig straight down into the stronghold, finding the portal room, filling the frame, and entering the end. When in the end, the speedrunner displays their extreme agility and skill by doing this ender pearl clutch.
Damn it.
They break the end crystals, and once again, the speedrunner shows off their skills and raw talent by doing a water bucket clutch.
Alright. Alright, guys.
With all of the end crystals destroyed and only 10 seconds left of the speedrun video, let's guess how the speedrun is going to end. Will the speedrunner propose to the Ender Dragon, throw a meatball at Minecraft Steve, or legally change his name to Gooby? He legally
Alright, just like that, guys. We have killed the Ender Dragon.
Well, that was definitely the most speedrun of all time. This speedrunner spawns in a jungle biome, then they use their elytra to fly. Afterwards, they beat an illager raid and ride a minecart to the stronghold. Then the speedrunner climbs on the wall and shoots a bunch of arrows. Wait, this is the wrong footage. This speedrun actually made me really hungry. Just watch and you'll see. They spawn on what appears to be the roof of a villager house. Correction, a weaponsmith house. But for some reason this block is just missing. This must be a chunk error. So the speedrunner enters the weaponsmith house and opens this chest. It wasn't a chunk error. If I had a penny for every time I've had to watch a speedrunner get full netherite armor, I'd have enough pennies to give to every single one of my subscribers. Also, I just have to point out, listen to what the speedrunner calls the Totem of Undying.
Oh, netherite armor and whatever that is, that weird looking ogre thing.
From here on out, I will only refer to totems as weird looking ogre things. The speedrunner equips their newly found armor, but watch closely and see if you notice what happens here. Yeah, there is a very subtle cut to the speedrun, which is made evident by the fact that their timer malfunctioned back to 0 seconds. Either there's a new update that allows hay to grow, or this guy's a big stinky cheater, because the hay in front of him has seemingly multiplied. So the speedrunner collects this hay, then they follow the path leaving the village. Wait, why are they staring at this wall? Yet another cut in the speedrun, and come on, man, did you think I wouldn't notice you changed the hay to golden apples? If you're wondering if this gets worse, spoiler alert, it does. They turn around and there's an unusually tall nether portal that just poofed itself into existence. I guess staring at walls is the best and newest speedrun strategy now. The speedrunner steps into their portal, making great time, and enters the nether. This is not the nether. Was there a new update I didn't hear about? We should honestly start a GoFundMe page for the speedrunner, because I think their computer is just broken. Their timer doesn't work, their nether portal malfunctioned. What next? The speedrunner jumps down this hole, and luckily they do find a working nether portal, depending on your definition of working. So they enter their bootleg nether, and it's got everything the real nether would have. Blaze, lava, a magical frog wizard. Yeah, you're probably wondering how they get 65 blaze rods. Mikey, roll the clip.
If you look into the lava, everything just quadrupled. Right, has it worked? It's worked! Yes, the frog has spawned! The mighty frog!
After the speedrunner gets their blaze rods from the miraculous toad, you can probably notice their nether portal is just suddenly working again. So they enter it, and before I show you this next part, where do you think it's gonna take them? Just take a wild guess. The nether, the overworld, McDonald's? Oh man, how did this speedrunner know I love McDonald's? Yeah, I get a Big Mac with large fries and a chocolate milk. Okay, sorry, back to the speedrun. They get Eyes of Ender, portal frames, and a beef patty from the villager, I mean McDonald's employee, and the speedrunner tries to build an end portal. Emphasis on tries. They try building their portal again, successfully entering the end. And the rest of the speedrun is pretty standard stuff, you know? They go into creative mode, their timer malfunctions for the 50th time, and they beat the game in a whopping 3.82 seconds. Now that that's over, I'm gonna go get some McDonald's. This speedrun, I have so many questions. They immediately go underground to mine for diamonds, and what do you know, they find diamonds. But they discover an unusual bedrock chasm in front of them. So the speedrunner explores this area, finding a mysterious hole leading to the void. Is that the void or a block? They jump into the hole, and Minecraft is looking a little different here. Is this a new update to the game, or am I missing something? I've clearly missed some big updates to the game. This speedrunner gets very lucky by spawning right in front of a ruined shipwreck. Wait, why is he walking away? The speedrunner instead uses their debug screen to locate a buried treasure chest. 90% of you aren't subscribed. Listen, before I click play on the speedrun, I know it's fake. Their hotbar is on the second slot when they spawn, there's experience orbs on the ground, and there's what appears to be another player's floating name tag in this house. But this speedrun had some of the worst acting I've ever seen. It's just so funny that I had to show it. The speedrunner proceeds to show off their sheer skill and raw talent when they enter a library and can't figure out how to get out.
Wait, no, how do I get out? Quick, no, I gotta go out this way.
These are the actions of only the top 1% of gamers. After wasting an appropriate amount of time, the speedrunner throws us in for a loop when he enters a villager house and conveniently finds 19 totems of Undying, which is perfect because he's so bad he's gonna need every single one. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. There's a lot wrong here. But believe it or not, this guy actually has Minecraft speedrunning down to a science. Just listen to his deductive reasoning here.
This one gave 2 swords, but they're both the same, so it doesn't matter.
A true scholar. Anyways, the speedrunner explores the village and goes after some of the pigs for food. But watch what happens when he kills the first pig.
This one looks like it'll taste good.
Okay. Oh!
If I play that clip again in slow motion, you can see a stack of golden apples gracefully descend from the heavens. And my first suspect is the completely inconspicuous name tag from earlier. As if that wasn't already embarrassing enough, the speedrunner pulls a double whammy immediately afterwards. Tell me if you notice it. Another day, another UFO sighting in Minecraft speedruns. Logically, the speedrunner's next step is to build a nether portal, and the way they sing the dream speedrun music in an attempt to distract the speedrun moderators is absolutely hilarious. Yep, nothing unusual here. So the speedrunner built their portal and enters the nether. But these next sequence of events are more chaotic than an M. Night Shyamalan movie twist. There's like 3 other people in this game. Mob spawners are appearing out of thin air. And is that a floating potato? This is what peak speedrun performance looks like. After this series of goofy events, the speedrunner proceeds to show us their innate acting skills too.
Wow, they dropped ender pearls already. The thing is, I only got 2 blaze rods. Oh, wow, we found a couple more blaze rods.
This kid's going places, all right. While the speedrunner makes their way back to the overworld, they start singing the dream music again, which can only mean one thing.
OMG, guys! It's Invisible Hero Grind! We're on pace for a new world record!
Well, that all happened very quickly. Despite the fact that the speedrunner is now in the end and cheating, they are so bad they didn't even bring a pickaxe with them. But the way this speedrunner solves his dilemma is my favorite part.
I'm gonna mine this block and it's gonna drop a pickaxe! Okay!
Yeah, the speedrunner really just magically teleported above the ground. And now they're ready to finally beat the Ender Dragon and get that sweet, sweet world record. But instead, they waste tons of time. And I just noticed now, are they playing on a public Minecraft server? This is so cursed. I can absolutely guarantee you will not guess what happens next. Here are your options. They die by accident, they get the world record, or they find a banana. Instead of me telling you, just watch. Johnny, roll the clip.
Oh, what's the... It's here! It's the Banana Man! He's coming to give me... Wow! Whatever he's gonna give me.
Okay, yeah, this is hilarious and all, but did you see what just happened? While I was distracted laughing at how goofy the speedrunner was, the end completely changed in the matter of a single frame.
See you on speedrun.com!
This guy's definitely gonna be a future actor. I'm gonna apologize in advance for the speedrunner because he has a lot of energy.
Alright, boys, we're about to start a new speedrun!
I give it an A for enthusiasm, but I'm actually really concerned that they drank like 50 cups of coffee prior to recording this, because they talk way too much.
Type vibes, you know?
Yeah, they spawned right in a village while it's nighttime. The chances of this happening are literally impossible. But you know what? Maybe it's all just a coincidence. Maybe this speedrun is legit. Okay, so it's possible there's some foul play at hand here. He goes door to door robbing these villagers while they're sleeping, and he found full netherite armor. You can imagine how much more energy this doofus has after all this amazing loot.
Oh my god, more diamonds!
So yeah, not even a minute into the speedrun, and this guy is already richer than a post-scam Logan Paul. It's easy to identify that this speedrun has a pretty clear structure to it. Find loot and freak out.
Oh my god, 3 totals in a shield!
And just like a ride at Disney, it gets better every single time.
This is the rarest one. Oh my god!
All things aside though, can we talk real quick about how there's 5 iron golems outside of a floating house? It's not the only strange thing about this Minecraft seed. The speedrunner finds something that's just a little out of the ordinary. Johnny, roll the clip.
I gotta go mining just so I can get into the sun. Oh my god, no way!
The speedrunner gets very lucky finding the legendary cave end portal. And would you look at that? They have exactly 1 Eye of Ender to finish the portal. How convenient. The speedrunner enters the end with about as much enthusiasm as I'd have if I hit 1 million subscribers.
No way!
Just click the subscribe button. It's not that difficult. This speedrunner's duel with the Ender Dragon is both hilarious and ridiculous, because instead of just hitting it with the weapon like a normal human being, they decide to just sloppily place an entire stack of TNT where it perches, ignite it, and pray that it works. What happens next is quite possibly the funniest moment in fake Minecraft speedrun history.
I'm gonna kill it! I gotta kill it, please! Please! No way, world record! Oh no! Oh my god, no! Okay, it's fine, guys! It's fine! No! Ah!
Yeah, it ends just like that. The only world record this guy got was the Goofiest Goober Award. This speedrunner explores the overworld, then places 1, 2, 3 wither skulls on the— Wait a second, what's going on here?
Oh my goodness, he can't. No, it's impossible. What the wither? Get him. Oh my goodness.
That boss? That boss was so easy. That was a piece of cake. Let's just move to the next speedrun. This next speedrunner, I don't think they understand what Minecraft means. They immediately travel into these mines, and they're mining stone with their hands, so they're not gonna be able to get the block. Wait, what's going on here? Is this a new type of third person in Minecraft? Well, they kill some zombies, craft a sword, and after a while of grinding, they get full diamond armor. After the speedrunner finishes mining their materials, they go to sleep. And when they wake up, they're suddenly back in normal Minecraft again, with all of the items that they got in whatever we were just in. And if you think it can't get worse, just wait. They put down these rails and get in this minecart, and they're suddenly playing Mario Kart. So after getting hit like 20,000 times by a bunch of bananas and red shells, the speedrunner finishes their Mario Kart race, and then all of a sudden they're back into real Minecraft and they found Endermen. Listen, I get that Microsoft has been updating Minecraft, but how much have I missed in a few months? As soon as they're about to start fighting these Endermen, Minecraft Steve just learns Taekwondo out of nowhere. So the speedrunner uses a telephone club banner to beat up an Enderman. This is the weirdest speedrun I've ever reviewed, and I kid you not, I guess the speedrunner feels they have enough time to take a musical interlude and get jiggy on the dance floor with Minecraft Steve. Can we just get this speedrun over with already? What in tarnation? I've seen a lot of weird things in my lifetime, but I never thought I'd see Minecraft Steve drunk at a bar. So after a variety of musical interludes from the speedrunner, we are finally back to real Minecraft, and somehow they got 13 ender pearls from beating up Endermen. The next thing you'd imagine for the speedrunner to do is probably go to the nether and get blaze rods, right? Well, why in the world are they crafting? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. A spaceship? So the speedrunner rides a spaceship, and then out of nowhere, Minecraft turned into a great value 4K Walmart update. Now the speedrunner is literally in space. I mean, he's making great time. So after the speedrunner completely massacres an entire spaceship of stormtroopers, they have an epic brawl with Herobrine, and I kid you not, Herobrine drops blaze rods. Again, what in tarnation? So I guess the speedrunner's magically back from space now, and they have 11 blaze rods. So they craft Eyes of Ender and throw the Eyes of Ender in the sky. Finally, something normal. The speedrunner digs down, and then they find the stronghold. So they enter the portal room, fill the portal with eyes, and I swear, if something goofy happens, I'm gonna lose it. I mean, it does look like Minecraft Steve, and he does have a pickaxe and shield, and that is a dragon. So the speedrunner has this epic battle with this 4K version of the Ender Dragon, beating Minecraft in record time. I can finally say I've seen it all. This speedrun is unusual for a variety of reasons. Number one, what is an Infinipearl and why is it trademarked? Number two, the speedrunner is so bad that they actually get trapped in this powder snow. Yeah, they waste a good 20 to 30 seconds just trying to escape this snow. It is hilarious. Until we finally discover what the Infinipearl is. Well, they use it to escape the snow. It's exactly what you'd expect. And as soon as they teleport, they turn around and they find a ruined portal. And they're still struggling in the snow. They take a peek at the ruined portal chest, and it is loaded to the brim with a lot of good stuff, including speedrunner bulk. What in tarnation? Is this even a legitimate copy of Minecraft? Well, the speedrunner eats the bulk, and I guess they're bulked now. Did I miss an update? Can someone help me out in the comments here? The speedrunner attempts, emphasis on attempts, building the ruined nether portal. I don't think this guy has ever heard of a straight line before. Despite that, and despite him not removing that crying obsidian, somehow he still lights the portal. Is this even possible? And surprise, surprise, of course, the speedrunner is right in front of a nether fortress, full to the brim of blazes. So they pearl into the nether fortress, at least they tried to, by accident falling into the pit of lava, and I guess they're fine? This speedrun is beginning to feel like one of those dreams where you show up to class in just your underwear. This is such a fever dream. I guess they survive their slip into the lava, so they proceed to kill blazes. But they quite literally are on the brink of death 1, 2, 3, 4 different times, somehow managing to get 5 blaze rods, which is an absolute miracle for their skill level. So the speedrun returns to their nether portal, but unfortunately they begin to be chased by this army of piglins. So to avoid being almost killed a 5th time, they just throw all their gold in the ground and hope for the best. Dropping a total of 56 gold ingots and getting 45 ender pearls, I am more likely to win the lottery 1,000 times in a row than this happening. So even though the gold distracted the piglins for just a moment, the speedrunner still almost dies trying to enter the nether portal, and somehow by a miracle they actually get in and go back to the overworld. And once in the overworld, the speedrunner crafts 10 Eyes of Ender, unfortunately wasting most of them. What a dummy. While the speedrunner's trying to locate the stronghold, I'm taking a look around their world, and this seed is very suspicious. There are 2 more ruined nether portals, and I'm pretty sure I see diamond on this mountain here, which really makes you wonder, where do you think the stronghold is? So the speedrunner crafts some diamond tools, and then they dig down. On their way down, though, they find a strange ore, mining it, getting an achievement called speedrunning time, and it turns out it's a speedrunner ingot. Again, what in tarnation? But despite all of this, the speedrunner still gets lost, almost dies to a witch, and somehow it turns out they were directly above the portal room the entire time. And remember how I said they wasted all their Eyes of Ender? Yeah, well, do the math here. You got 6 unfilled frames, and he has 4 Eyes of Ender. So it's time to make your bets. What do you think this goofball is gonna do? $10 says he summons the Banana Man or the Pee-Pee Trader. No, well, actually, the speedrunner left clicks on the 2 empty frames, and yeah, one of the frames is just replaced with an end portal. I mean, hey, that works too. So the speedrunner jumps into their single end portal, entering the end, and come on again. This is not the first time I've seen this. They are in a completely different version of Minecraft. Who has the time to do this? So the speedrunner approaches the dragon and begins to wallop him. Wait a second, why is the speedrunner turning around? They walk away from the ender dragon, and the speedrunner finds a mech suit. Wait, that was so cool. Why'd they pause the game? Wait a second, what is that setting? 4K RTX realism? Oh my goodness, they just turned it on. Wait, what's going on here? That was so cool. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. A+ to the speedrunner. This speedrun, I'm gonna need help in the comments figuring out what exactly happened here, because it is very professional, but also so wrong. The speedrunner spawns in a forest, and then they break this very specific window, jumping up and accessing this chest in a village house. And everything looks pretty normal here, other than finding the exact number of obsidian they would need to build a nether portal. I mean, look, maybe this guy is just pretty lucky. So they find a pickaxe, and they continue to loot the village houses and get some beds. This section, though, is extremely confusing to me as the speedrunner starts breaking cobblestone in this house, and I don't know if I'm just tired, but there seems to be a very sudden cut. Yeah, actually, wait a second. Now that I take a look back at this footage, something's definitely wrong here. If I go frame by frame here, I don't know if that cobblestone just turned into obsidian or if this is a graphical glitch, but right after this happens, suddenly he's just in a completely different area. So what is this, the magical teleporting block? And that's what's pretty confusing about this cut, is that it seems like nothing is different. So the speedrunner kills a squid, and then they get some dye. They go back to the village, breaking a bookshelf, and then crafting a book and quill. And here's where I just get so lost. They open up the book and quill and write, I'm not even sure how to say this, a baptized redivides. What is this guy, a Harry Potter fan? What's going on here? And for a while, there is no follow-up as to what this book and quill's purpose is for the speedrun, until they go in the mines, mine some iron ore, and start smelting it. So they build their nether portal, craft flint and steel with their iron, light the nether portal, and remember the book and quill from earlier? Well, here's where it all comes together. Yeah, they just threw that book into the nether portal, and now it looks like it leads to the dark dimension. You know how in my previous videos where I would say they enter the nether, but I say the end by accident? Well, this time, the speedrunner enters the end with the nether portal. What in tarnation? For some reason, the speedrun just goes into a video editor, and they're saying that the speedrun is legit because there's no cut when they enter the end. But if you look back at the timeline, there's like 40 different cuts. Buddy just exposed himself by trying not to expose himself. I cannot deal with this. And for the most part, when they get on the end island, they actually do look like they know exactly what they're doing when it comes to professional speedrunning. Except for when they just put 10x speed on the screen and speed up everything. To be fair, in my personal opinion, the Ender Dragon fight is more boring than watching paint dry, so I do kind of appreciate that the speedrunner sped this part up. And honestly, I don't even care at this point if the speedrun is fake or not. This guy is literally preaching to the choir by typing perch in the chat chat box. Couldn't have said it better, buddy. After what seems like an eternity, the speedrunner actually does do really well with killing the dragon with beds, beating the game in really amazing time despite me not having any idea what just happened. And I was actually pretty interested in figuring out why there were still minutes left of this video when I found this at the end of it. Special edition TNT Minecraft Nuke. Okay guys, I know this isn't the usual, but we gotta watch this. So someone in the comments gonna have to help me figure out what exactly is happening here, but it looks like he's jamming in a bunch of minecarts with TNT into a single block. Alright, actually that was pretty cool. This is quite literally the fastest speedrun I've ever witnessed in my entire life. The speedrunner creates their world, and we actually have to wait like a whole minute for the loading screen to finish. And as soon as they load into the world, they jump and a nether portal literally appears out of thin air. Well, I guess they're going to the nether now. And before the world even loads in, they get a ton of new recipes and advancements, and they have blaze rods and ender pearls already in their inventory. Somehow the blaze rods turn into blaze powder, and then that's added to the ender pearls to create eyes of ender. If someone has any idea how this is working, I am very curious. Please comment down below. And in a split second, an entire end portal is crafted beneath them. And once they're in the end, they jump, which teleports them on top of the end island, and the ender dragon has literally 1 HP. Then the speedrunner uses their bow, kills the dragon, and I guess beats Minecraft in literally 1 minute. But if you don't include the loading screens, it had to have been like 10 seconds. What in tarnation? This speedrunner builds a house. Wait a second. What's going on outside of that house?
Oh my goodness.
Clearly, there's been some Minecraft updates that I've missed over the past few years. This was an absolute fever dream. It starts off in a seemingly normal world with the speedrunner breaking some wood, but then they change their render distance, and after browsing through the language options, I'm sorry, but what is LOL cat? The speedrunner changes their language to pirate speak. Why? I mean, arg. And right after that happens, the speedrunner jumps into the water, and I am absolutely flabbergasted. The chat box is filled with messages from God, and their inventory is filled to the brim with boats. The speedrunner acts as if nothing unusual has happened, so they go on their merry way, making a crafting table and crafting some tools. Did you just see that? Yeah, their pickaxe o timber was just magically enchanted out of thin air, and then their shovel and axe become enchanted as well. Is this guy just really good at editing? After these mysterious events, the speedrunner starts digging down. Are you noticing anything unusual about their mining? Somehow their magical pickaxe is making cobblestone drop ore. So in a matter of a few seconds, they have gotten emerald, iron, diamond, and netherite all from cobblestone. What in tarnation? I mean,
shiver me timbers.
Well, the speedrunner goes further down into the cave, mining some of this obsidian and making the structure of a nether portal. Unfortunately, though, they do not have any flint, which is pretty ironic because their magical pickaxe can just poop out any ore, but the one thing they need, they don't have. So after wasting a very long time trying to find a single block of gravel, the speedrunner finds the mother lode. After getting a bajillion flint, they craft flint and steel and make their way back to their nether portal. Tell me if you notice anything unusual. As soon as they look at this enderman, he just dies instantly and drops a lot of ender pearls. Like I said, this speedrunner works in mysterious ways. So they light the nether portal with the ship's bane. And as soon as they enter the nether, they somehow instantly send messages in chat saying, "Give me some blaze rods, give me some pearls." And in front of them, ender pearls, blaze rods, and eyes of ender. But somehow it just disappears into thin air. So the speedrunner actually goes back into the nether portal, finding their precious items, and they return back to the nether. Wait a second, why are they jumping into the lava? Well, if you ever wondered if there was a lava equivalent of Frostwalker boots, I guess there is. I mean, they are wearing boots. Because the speedrunner has literally everything they need to beat the game, they don't dilly-dally too much in the nether, so they build up as high as they can, making an end portal, lighting it, and returning to the overworld. And once in the overworld, there is a lot of stuff going on around them. There's some enemy mobs, there's some cows that seem to be multiplying themselves when they die. Again, what in tarnation? Anyways, the speedrunner tries to locate the stronghold, and there's not that much wrong with what's going on here, except for the fact that when they look at mobs, they instantly die, and we get a great picture of Minecraft Steve pooping out boats while swimming. So I'm not sure if this next part is just sheer luck, but the speedrunner picks a completely random block of sand to begin digging down on, and they dig directly into the portal room. Honestly, that was pretty impressive. impressive. They fill the portal with eyes, jumping in, doing a 360. This part is pretty concerning. Do you see what's going on over there in the middle of the island? What in the world? All right, I'm starting to get a little creeped out now. These villagers are staring at him intently. In the interest of my own personal safety, I am legally obligated to say this one is legit. This speedrunner, you can tell that they're professional. What you're seeing right now on the screen is called the wall, which is put simply, loading multiple instances of Minecraft at the same time and having the option to pick one of them if it ends up being a good seed and setup. And you can actually tell that the speedrunner picks the top middle instance to begin their speedrun. They immediately go into this villager house, open up the chest, and take 6 obsidian blocks, which is gonna be great for the nether portal. Wait a second, what did they just build? Is this some sort of practical joke? Because I'm pretty sure they were speedrunning something completely different. Yeah, let's move on.
And that's a new record. 15 seconds.
Yeah, you heard that right. This speedrun was completed in 15 seconds. Just watch. This goofy goober has the balls to say great spawn.
Oh my goodness, great spawn. We spawned in a village?
Buddy, it's impossible to spawn in a villager house. And of course, it wouldn't be a fake Minecraft speedrun if they didn't find a diamond sword in the chest. But hang on a second. Rewind the video and tell me if you just saw what I just saw. Did you rewind it? If I go frame by frame here, you can very clearly see some sort of random speck in the sky. The problem is this guy is literally recording with a toaster oven, so I can't really make out what it is. And yeah, this is definitely one of the strangest villages I've ever seen. Right off the bat, just tons of cows hanging out in a fence. Holy cow. Yeah, I think I just figured out what that speck was in the sky. Because the sky just pooped out 64 enchanted golden apples. And I guess the sky has diarrhea because now it's pooping out experience bottles. So after the speedrunner finishes up getting pooped on by the sky, they spot a ruined nether portal farther away from the village. And I just realized now, is their Minecraft skin a chicken? What the cluck? So the speedrunner opens up the ruined nether portal chest and they find 960 gold ingots. And again, they have the balls to say that should be enough.
Yeah, that should be enough gold.
Buddy, that's more than you'd need for world domination. Why would you need this for a speedrun? So the speedrunner enters the nether portal and they encounter the newest Wish.com Walmart Great Value Piglet, otherwise known as Island Boy 427. They throw their 960 gold ingots at it, again saying that should be enough.
That should be enough gold.
They literally just get attacked by experience bottles and netherite weapons. And I love how Island Boy 427 just magically floats away into the distance. As one goober floats away, another appears. Tell me if you can see what's going on here. Yep, that's right. Island Boy 427 is back, and this time he's Herobrine. What in tarnation? I love how he just floats out of the water. So the speedrunner gets Eyes of Ender from Herobrine, and again, Island Boy just floats away into the distance. I'm very excited for his return in the speedrun. After all this goofiness, the speedrun suddenly cuts to a new frame of a sign on a dirt block that says nothing here. Gee, I wonder what's there. And directly behind the speedrunner is just Eyes of Ender as far as the eye can see. So the nothing here sign magically breaks the block surrounding it, revealing the end portal beneath it. And when the speedrunner jumps into the end portal, as soon as they're in the end, you can very clearly see a potion bottle floating in the sky, and then the speedrunner says this.
I just wish there was a bridge right there. You know?
Me too, buddy. Me too. Are you serious? At which point, an obsidian bridge just begins to build itself out of thin air. And then the speedrunner says this.
I wish there was a tunnel right there.
And can you take a wild guess what happens here? Yeah, a tunnel just magically begins to dig itself. And towards the end is just hilarious because with all of this cheating in mind, the speedrunner never gave himself a pickaxe, so he literally cannot jump up this 2-block wall. And he has to ask his friend to break the block, and the suspense is hilarious.
I wish that block right there would break. I wish that block would break.
I literally cannot make up these next few moments because the speedrunner summons his friend with enchanted golden apples.
I summon Mr. Waffle. Oh my goodness.
At which point Island Boy 427 reveals himself as Mr. Waffle, which by the way is a bigger plot twist than when Luke Skywalker finds out Darth Vader is his father. Putting the speedrunner into creative mode, and all of that leads up to this next moment, where the speedrunner is literally holding the Wish.com Ender Dragon hostage.
Make me a portal home, or the end gets it. Thank you so much.
And it looks like the dragon gave in to the demands. I need to get some sleep. This speedrun is the news?
It means
Wait, how did this get into the compilation?
China has successfully killed the Wither and now has the resources necessary to activate a beacon. This story broke in the Financial Times.
This was the wrong footage. This speedrun starts off in a rather unexpected way. I don't know if this is a personal attack on me or they just like to threaten people, but I guess we have to subscribe. And we are greeted by the lovely sound of... I'm not quite sure, a toaster oven? Regardless, this guy's microphone quality is just horrible. But everything looks pretty legit. He's got a timer, you can see the world loading up, everything looks pretty normal here. But as soon as they spawn, a couple things look off here. Number one, they do spawn immediately into a village, which I'll give them that one, that can happen. But they are selecting the 4th slot on their hotbar, which means they probably have already played in this world and just cut it out. Maybe it's a glitch. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. So the speedrunner turns around, they enter a blacksmith house, and they find some pretty reasonable looking items. Some obsidian, some iron, everything here looks pretty normal to me. They do get exactly 10 obsidian, which is pretty lucky, but you know, maybe it's possible. But when they go into the next house and open up the chest, that's when things start to look just a little bit fishy here. There's just a little bit more bread and wood than you might imagine would appear in a chest. So the speedrunner spends some time reorganizing their inventory, which is a #1 priority when it comes to speedrunning. And hang on a second, I might be delirious, but I think I just saw something in the distance here. I'm gonna rewind the video. Yeah, I don't know if you see that too, but that looks like a ginormous building with a gold ingot on it. Again, I could just be delirious. Maybe we'll find out later. You may not have noticed what just happened here. For most people, this would go right over their heads. But if you didn't catch it, there was a very slight cut, and for some reason, the speedrunner decided to go into creative mode and then go back into survival mode. He thinks I'm stupid. I'm not gonna let this one get past me, buddy. Regardless, they build their obsidian nether portal, light it, and as soon as they enter the nether, everything looks pretty normal here. They walk around for a bit in the nether, and then they immediately discover a nether fortress, and they also find a very conveniently placed path of netherrack blocks. Good for them. So they jump down onto the path, and the path leads directly to a blaze spawner, which is fantastic news for the speedrunner because they are only 55 seconds into the speedrun, which means they're making world record time right now. The speedrunner kills that only blaze that is available to him, and unfortunately does not get a blaze rod. But I want you to listen for a moment to what he says next.
If I can just get one blaze rod, I should be fine with how good my luck is.
So if you couldn't hear him, the speedrunner said if I could just get one blaze rod, that'd be fine with how good my luck is, which may or may not be foreshadowing for what happens in the future of this speedrun. They kill another blaze, unfortunately not getting any loot from that one either, but on the 3rd blaze, they do get a blaze rod from it. And they must really believe in themselves because they get that one blaze rod and decide to leave. And before I show you this next part, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, The Truman Show. It's kind of like that. They see a nether portal, but when they walk right past it, they've entered some sort of Walmart great value overworld. Now, you know, honestly, if I wasn't wearing my contacts right now, if I was squinting my eyes a little bit, this might fool me. Otherwise, it's very clear that they've recreated the overworld. As to why, I have no idea. But they find a block that I'm assuming is supposed to represent the sun. It turns out it is a yellow shulker box full of 64 stacks of gold ingots, which honestly, I have no idea why that would help them right now, but let's just keep on watching and find out what happens. So the speedrunner takes their miraculous loot, they go into their portal and return to the overworld. And I don't know if you remember earlier how I pointed out a ginormous looking gold ingot in the distance, but that is what the speedrunner returns to. So the speedrunner goes up to the strange and new structure, depositing their gold ingots into it, and in the barrel, they suddenly get ender pearls. I honestly don't keep up too much with Minecraft updates, but clearly I've missed out on a handful of them because I don't remember this being in Minecraft. Regardless, the speedrunner crafts their eyes of ender, they throw them up into the air, but when they jump, they fall into a very large chasm. And when they're in the void, they just suddenly suddenly appear in the stronghold. I'm not quite sure how this is all happening, but it's very entertaining. So when in the stronghold, it turns out that the portal is completely filled. The likelihood of this happening is extremely low. In addition to that, there's also a random button in the portal room. So they click it, and honestly, I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen next. That button could do anything. It could create a parallel universe. It could spawn an apple. There's only one way we're gonna find out. So at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, the speedrunner has entered the end, and at least this part of the speedrun looks pretty normal. Unfortunately though, the speedrunner just wastes like a whole minute shooting arrows at the dragon and missing most of the shots. But when they're destroying the end crystals, they get tossed by the dragon, and right when they're about to do some sort of bucket clutch or ender pearl clutch and save themselves from death, yeah, you can't make this up, there's a to be continued sign on the screen. So this is definitely the first speedrun I've ever seen where it was broken down into 2 parts. But don't worry, luckily though, I have part 2, and we're gonna watch that right now. So before I play this clip, just take a wild guess as to what might happen. Maybe they land on the ground with a water bucket, maybe they do some sort of hay bale clutch, maybe they throw an ender pearl. Regardless, you are never gonna guess. I'm just gonna play this clip and we can watch it.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, that's right. You cannot make this up. The speedrunner, I guess they found themselves in the back room. The funniest part about this is they very clearly screen recorded this video and forgot to edit out the little YouTube logo on the bottom right of the screen. Suddenly though, the video cuts back to Minecraft. I guess the guy found himself out of the back rooms, and they're now spawned on the beach with an X marks the spot right in front of them. So they dig down and the X marks the spot, finding a lot of random loot in a chest. Very, very convenient. Unusually though, I just realized that the speedrunner forgot to put their timer up, but oh well. So the speedrunner throws their Eye of Ender, and they go running in that direction. Unfortunately though, I don't think that they're actually heading to the stronghold. They're heading to something much, much stranger. Much more strange? You're never gonna guess what they find. It is a very oversized nether portal. Casual. So the speedrunner enters the nether portal, entering the nether, and directly in front of them is a very large path. And the speedrunner decides to do some parkour on this path. They immediately die, and there is a very subtle cut. You know what, I'll give him one get out of jail free card for this one. It was entertaining. So after successfully getting through the parkour, the speedrunner finds another nether portal, and at this point, I'm wondering if this guy made this video just to waste my time. I have no idea what this is leading to. Well, they get into the overworld, and now they're in front of a house. So the speedrunner enters the house, and they find 63 blaze powder just hanging out in a brewing stand. They take the blaze powder, return to the nether portal, and back in the nether, they find a chest full of ender pearls. Well, okay, I guess they have ender pearls and blaze powder now, so they craft Eyes of Ender, go back into a nether portal, which I am so confused. This is the most complicated speedrun ever. When they return to their cave, it turns out that the stronghold was there. It's just kind of hanging out at the bottom. So the speedrunner fills the end portal with Eyes of Ender, and they jump into the portal. Of course, I'm not very surprised when they enter the end, and there is a very conveniently mined staircase that leads up to the surface level. On top of that, the Ender Dragon also has like 5 health left. I don't know what else is going to happen in this speedrun. This has been an emotional roller coaster. Yeah, unfortunately though, there's no other twists and turns in this speedrun. They kill the dragon and beat the game. I have no idea what time they got, because when we reached part 2, they just never used a timer again. That was very, very strange. This next speedrun, there is a lot to unpack here. I'm gonna have to warn you, the audio quality and the video quality is as if this guy recorded his video with a toaster oven. On top of that, I don't know why the sky looks like space. We also have the courtesy of having subtitles directly on the screen. They said they just spawned into the game, but they already have a ton of items in their hotbar. So with all that in mind, this is gonna be a little wacky, I'm sure. So I know it's gonna be difficult to tell because of the quality, but they actually enter the house in front of them, opening the chest in front of them, and it has tons of diamonds in it. And if you couldn't tell that they were surprised, the text on the screen reads, "Whoa, no way." They pick up their diamonds, and again, I know the quality is bad, I know it looks like a few pixels on the screen, but if you can't tell, directly in front of them is an end portal. And the speedrunner, they're very surprised, based on the text on the screen saying, "Oh, what?" So they jump into the portal, which teleports them to, I think this is the end, and there is a red-looking bean in front of them. And you know what, I just realized I probably should have put a warning out to the headphone users out there. The audio is extremely loud. So I guess somehow this speedrunner teleported into the Among Us dimension. I'll give him 10 points for creativity. So before the imposter is about to kill them, they spawn a bunch of guardians.
The guardian angel saved them.
Pressing a button to call an emergency meeting, and I guess they eject the imposter. Then the video just immediately cuts to the Minecraft credit screen. So I guess they beat the game, and this was definitely the most unique speedrun I've ever seen. Okay, so this speedrun, there's some stuff cut out of it, which is very concerning. As soon as I play it, you're gonna know what I'm saying. They use a funky little Windows Movie Maker transition, but it is very concerning that they are deleting the entire section that encompasses world creation, which leads me to believe this speedrun might be just a little fishy. The speedrunner spawns into their world and everything looks seemingly normal. The only thing I can comment on here is that they're selecting the second slot in their hotbar. I don't know what it is, but it seems like every fake Minecraft speedrun, the speedrunners always forget to just shift the selector to the first slot. It really is not that difficult. Such a rookie mistake. Anyways, the speedrunner approaches this tree and begins breaking the wood. So they break down the tree, collect the wood, but there is a very sudden cut. Then the speedrunner claims that they have to turn back and collect some of the wood that they forgot.
Okay guys, before we craft wooden tools, I think I'm just gonna grab the wood that I left behind.
But when they turn around, there is a very large stack of wooden planks. Which, come on dude, that's not even how the wood would drop. It should be oak logs, not planks. And after picking up an enormous amount of wooden planks, I don't know what happened. I think my computer broke. No, my computer did not break. The speedrunner just cut out a big chunk of the video. And when the video comes back, they have wooden tools. I'm so confused. I don't understand why they're cutting all this stuff out. So the speedrunner goes to some stone and they start mining it for cobblestone tools. And again, there is another cut and the speedrunner suddenly has stone tools. Genuinely, this is just a lot to keep track of. There are so many cuts. It kind of defeats the purpose of a speedrun. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep on watching. I'm intrigued. So the speedrunner continues exploring the world and they find a village. But when they're in the village, you might not catch this, but on the left side of the screen, it very clearly says set on game mode to survival. Now, most people would think I'm a big dum-dum and I wouldn't notice this, but Buddy's not gonna pull a fast one on me. Well, the speedrunner hits an iron golem, then pulls some 360 no-scopes on him, getting 5 iron ingots, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that's possible. It seems like a lot more than you would usually get from an iron golem. Then they go into a villager house and open up a chest. And you know, it seems pretty normal, you know, some dirt, a potato, diamond tools. Now to the naked eye, this looks pretty normal, but if you get out your detective's inspection glass, you can see that this speedrunner is very clearly cheating. Very suddenly, the video cuts to another segment where there is a chest in the middle of nowhere that is highlighted. For what reason, I do not know. This next part is just so goofy. They put all of their items into the chest, then there is another Windows Movie Maker-esque effect on the screen, and all of a sudden, all of their gear is enchanted. That's plus 10 points for creativity. Anyways, the speedrunner continues exploring, and they are making great time at just 1 minute and 30 seconds. They locate a lava pool, and what in the world is that next to it? Yep, that is in fact a stone tower with a sign that says take this, and it is a water bucket. So the speedrunner takes advantage of their extreme luck, using the water bucket to build an obsidian nether portal. Unfortunately, they do not have flint and steel, but that's where this innocent sheep comes into play. The speedrunner strikes the sheep, and out of nowhere, it drops flint and steel. No abrupt cuts whatsoever. So the nether portal is lit now, and the speedrunner enters the nether, spawning right in front of a nether fortress. But wait a second, why are they walking away from it? And what in the world is that? Yep, you are reading that right. That is the dream stick. I don't want to know what that means. After one more Windows Movie Maker transition, the speedrunner finds the blaze spawner. And after a little bata swing with the blazes, using the trusty dream stick, the speedrunner gets a variety of blaze rods. I honestly don't know if that'll be enough for him. And if there wasn't enough Windows Movie Maker transitions in your life, there's one more for the road, with the speedrunner jumping down into a hole in the nether fortress, falling into what the speedrunner is calling the golden lounge. Oh geez, this is so ridiculous. So they collect their gold from the golden lounge, building back up into the nether fortress. Anyways, the piglin locates a what am I saying? Anyways, the speedrunner locates a bastion, and in front of them is a piglin. They throw their gold ingots at the piglin, and the piglin throws stacks of Eyes of Ender at the speedrunner. If at any point during the speedrun you were unsure whether this was real or fake, Unfortunately, this is the hard truth. The speedrunner exposes himself by showing the chat log in their Minecraft, where their friend, Dean But Better, who is clearly the piglin, types, "Can you make it at least somewhat realistic?" And in response, the speedrunner says, "STFU or you're not getting paid." What a shame. I cannot believe this. Well, now we know for sure that this speedrun's fake. Anyways, the speedrunner returns to their nether portal, coming back to the overworld, and while exploring and trying to locate the stronghold, it's very clear that the speedrunner catches sight of something far in the distance. What is that, a bird? Nope, it's not a bird. It is Notch, the creator of Minecraft, and he gives the speedrunner full netherite armor. Wow, that is almost as lucky as my speedrun. Pretty crazy. The speedrunner throws more Eyes of Ender, trying to locate the stronghold, but I'm warning you, there is a jump scare. I'm not sure why, but the speedrunner edited a jump scare into their speedrun.
Okay guys, so
truly terrifying. So they dig down, finding the stronghold, locating the end portal room. The speedrunner fills the end portal with Eyes of Ender, and they enter the end. And everything looks normal here except for the fact that, I'm not even kidding, I didn't edit this in the video. The speedrunner edited their own little dubstep montage. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll the clip here.
let's get this world record once and for all.
Alright, that's enough of that. It's not very surprising to find out that the speedrunner, very close to beating the game, they die. Yeah, real shocker there. Regardless, the timer's still going and they're still making fantastic time. So the speedrunner decides to respawn and, wait a second, what are they doing here? They break a bunch of dirt blocks and they build a huge tower up into the sky. The speedrunner jumps off of their dirt tower, jumping into a 1x1 end portal, and again coming back with those crazy Windows Movie Maker effects, they suddenly teleport into the end again. And I gotta say, that was the most impressive water bucket clutch I've ever seen in my entire life. Dream would not have been able to pull that one off. Anyways, the speedrunner tries to kill the Ender Dragon with very little health, but he is just missing every single shot. And that's when something else really strange happens.
Come on guys, we're so close to victory. Let's go. Wait, what's happening? What? Guys, someone else is controlling my game. What is going on?
And yeah, that's right, the screen glitches, they go into creative mode, and their timer starts going backwards in time. And just like that, the speedrunner kills the Ender Dragon, beating Minecraft in a world record 0.67 seconds. Wow, I have so much to learn. Fantastic speedrun, fantastic. Huge shout out to all of our channel members. If you want a shout out at the end of the video like this and receive other special membership perks like badges next to your name in the comments, special Andaru emojis, and more, click the join button to find out more. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and if you enjoyed it, here's more of my other videos on screen to watch now.